break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best grand E, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am Mr. E. I'm joined tonight, of course, with Mrs. E, our guest Auntie, and our special guest tonight, Josh from the lab. Welcome in, Josh.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. We appreciate you doing this with us. We've kind of been talking about doing something together for a long time, and our schedules are always so crazy and unreliable. And so, but I appreciate you finally getting together with us and us making it work.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Always listen to you guys and a fan of what you guys do.
Oh yeah, I mean we are too. I mean I listen to everything you do. You guys are awesome. I'm sure most of our audience is familiar with the lab, but there might be some folks that are not. So if you have not subbed up to Josh's channel before, we're going to drop that in the link, I'm sure, several times tonight. And Josh, how long have you been doing your channel? How many years have you been doing it?
This is, let's see, so June of 2021. So in June it'll be 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But not, it's weird because I had a different channel, and so this is actually my third different channel, I think.
Okay.
I had a non-monetized channel for about a year, and then I made a brand new channel. I don't remember. I think I just kind of ditched that one because it was a different genre. I was doing like little docs and stuff, and then I started the one that I have now. So the one that I have now, I've had for about 3 years, and been sticking with that one. I also have Lab After Dark, which I started about 2.5 years ago or something like that. And so, yeah, but I've been podcasting since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been podcasting for a long time. Yeah. So,
and that was a comedy podcast back in 2015, right? Am I understanding that?
Some people would call it that. Some people would call it ridiculous, but it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into, I started doing interviews with, during the pandemic, I had virologists on, and this doctor from the UK. His name was Dr. Bharat Pankanya. He came on a couple times during that, and interviewed survivors from Columbine.
Wow.
Yeah, prosecutors, things like that. People, so it started to evolve into that because I've always sort of had a soft spot for I wouldn't say true crime in general, but because of my past a little bit, I guess I've always taken interest in cases, I guess you could say, for the most part. And I have a certain disdain for people who like to ruin families and who don't take care of what they're supposed to in life. That has always bothered me.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, actually, are there certain cases over the last few years that get under your skin more than others? I mean, obviously you can't cover every case that's out there.
Sure. Yeah.
We find ourselves drawn to certain types for some reason.
The Barry Morphew case has always bothered me. Suzanne Morphew. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the D. Warner case.
Yeah.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, that case. McDonough and I, we covered that one extensively. He's actually on trial right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's I was fascinated even as a kid by the OJ case. Still am, actually. I mean, I still learn things about that case that I never knew. So but yes, it's mostly men who. Scott Peterson was another case that really, always bothered me, and the Casey Anthony case as well.
Sure.
So I always paid attention to those cases even before podcasting. And I was actually in Modesto when Lacey Peterson went missing.
Oh, wow.
And I remember seeing it on the local news one morning or no, it was at night. It was during Christmas, and I was watching. We were just watching the news. It was like I think the Sacramento. It was like the Sacramento local news, and then in the paper the next day it was the Sacramento Bee, and her picture was everywhere, and I had never seen a media blitz like that. I was only 16 when it happened.
Yeah.
And I was there for a few days after it had happened, and they were customers of my aunt's at the time, her restaurant, which was called the Old Mill Cafe. And she dropped her wine glass when she saw that she was missing. It was like Christmas Eve or something. I think it was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve.
And it popped up that she said, missing. And I remember my aunt's reaction. She dropped her glass and it shattered, and she just put her hands over her face. And I was like, whoa, what? And she's like, those are my customers. And so,
Wow.
yeah. So that was a case that I paid attention to, like most people, because it was everywhere. And then that's how I had a love-hate relationship with Nancy Grace after that. It's like, I love her coverage, but sometimes she drives me nuts. But I think that's part of her shtick.
Right. It's her brand, kind of.
It
right?
is. It is her brand. Yeah. So and then obviously the Summer Wells case is a case that is haunting, and it's bothersome. And the case that we're going to talk about tonight, which has a lot of parallels, the Sebastian Rogers case, especially getting in on that case so early on. It was, early,
No, Josh was like one of the first, or
One of the
second?
very first people.
I was the second, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Trevor Lee and I remember, Trevor Lee was posting about, he would just, post about it, and I was paying attention to his posts, but I had heard about him going missing. And so I was paying attention to it. And so I got a hold of Trevor and I said, hey, let's do a show about this. And I remember the first time we did a show, I don't know how many people, a lot of people showed up, and there were so many, things that we'll probably get into tonight, but there were just a lot of weird things about the case that really drew people's attention to it. And so we went from there, and it brought out the best in people. It brought out the worst in people. And it still to this day has an effect that I regret some of it. And but I don't regret the attention that it's gotten, because it's still out there. And then when I brought in McDonough to talk about the case, which brought a lot more eyes to the case, sort of like the Michael Vaughn case.
Mhm.
If you guys are familiar with the Michael Vaughn case,
Yes, very. Yeah.
I was the one that I started covering that one. I think I was probably the first on that one too, and only because the only reason I started covering it is because somebody emailed me and asked me if I would.
Yeah.
And I looked at the case and I said, sure. And so I did a show about it one night. Brandy Vaughn, who her name was Neil at the time, but now it's Brandy Vaughn. She asked to come up on panel, and I told her, I said, I might have a friend that can help you out. Because I believed her. I believed her desperation, that she wanted attention for the case and things like that, because Summer Wells' case was getting so much attention, and rightfully so. But it was that I put her in touch with the Cold Case Foundation, with Chris McDonough. The Cold Case Foundation was called in by the Fruitland Police Department, and right now one is charged with the murder, and more to come. There will be more indictments on the way for Sarah Wandra and Brandon, and so I was very happy to even be able to have just a minute impact there by connecting those people. Very, very. I was proud of that, and I'm proud that these cases do get If we put our, if we put our resources together, and if we put our audience together, we can shine lights on this case. But the problem is that it also comes with a lot of negativity from a lot of different people, so
Sure.
it's just kind of how it goes, but that's what we do, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, the negativity is part of the deal.
It is a big part of the deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to people today about, the parents, no matter how clear it is that a parent is innocent, they all get, if there's any question about what's happened and a mystery around it, they're all going to get hammered and criticized and have their lives looked through. And it just happens to all of them. Really.
Yeah. And not even it's not even just the accusations of, something that they did, a lot of, you hear a lot of it in some of these cases, like, well, I don't think that they did anything, but 10 years ago, they defaulted on a jet ski. They're a piece of crap. Or, well, the person's only had partial custody, or, that kind of stuff. And it's just like, we're not here to judge the lifestyle of people, but it sort of comes along with it, and it's unfortunate,
Yeah.
But sometimes the lifestyle directly affects what is going on with the case, with the child, or whoever is missing. So that's a problem as well.
Yes, and I think that's where we all have to kind of use our judgment,
sure,
on whether or not if it's a part of the case or not.
Well, that was a big part of the Summer Wells case. People would always say, well, you're so judgmental of the parents. And I said, I don't care what the parents do, but what I saw, the children living in squalor, is unacceptable. I don't care if they have money or if they don't. A kid sleeping on a mattress in a damp basement with no proper ventilation or heating, and it's filthy, is unacceptable. And I don't have a problem criticizing that. I don't have a problem criticizing when people have, CPS cases out against them and something happens to their child. I mean, it's a red flag. It's just part of it. It's just how it is.
Right. Which just actually brings us a little bit to the theme that we had for the live stream tonight. So that nice lead in there, Josh, with the red flags.
Like I said, 2015, I've been doing it.
So
this is what it's like to work with a professional.
I know. So instead of us just meandering for 20 minutes, so we
talking about our day.
Yeah. So
how was your day?
So I do want to though acknowledge some gifts we had in chat. Melissa gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much for doing that, Melissa. We appreciate the support there. And I've seen a lot of folks from the lab joining us tonight too. A lot of lab rats coming in. So good to have you guys all here. And
Mally Cat gifted 5 memberships.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that. I couldn't see that one.
And we have a few people who've rejoined that are old members and just rejoined. So awesome. Thank you guys.
We appreciate that very much. So if for us, for our channel, we started our channel really because of the Sebastian Rogers case. So this is really, I mean, if we've had a focus for the channel, it's been that case for the last 2 years today. And so one of the live streams we did a long time ago that was really popular and people kind of asked us to revisit was the red flags theming. Where we kind of just went through, okay, so what are the red flags here? What are the things that made you stop on this case and say, whoa, there's something not right here? Because I think for most people, when they got into the Sebastian Rogers disappearance, I think most people were kind of like us, where we thought, oh, wow, there's a kid with autism. He's wandered from his house like many others have, and he's going to be found 10 miles down the road. Or like a lot of these end up, we're going to find him in a creek or a lake. There was a sense of urgency because these stories happen all the time. Another one happened in Gallatin just a few months ago that turned out tragically. And, and we have our son with autism. So anytime we see these in the news, it always catch our attention. So we got invested in it. And then a few days in, it was just these little warning signs, these little red flags that you go, well, this doesn't really feel right. So that's kind of what we thought we'd go through tonight, because even since we did that live stream, there have been countless other red flags that have kind of emerged over the last year or so, in this case too. And so we weren't planning to do it this way, where Josh was on here tonight. It just kind of worked out on our schedule, I think. But it's great because you've been following this case since probably around week 1 or so.
I think the
Day one.
third day, second day.
Yeah.
I remember when Sebastian went missing, when it was announced, it popped up on my feed, and it wasn't. It was kind of, one of those things where it came up and you go, well, they'll probably find him soon. And, I don't know how they'll find him or in what condition they'll find him, but most likely they'll be found, because most of the time kids that go missing are found.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids run away. A lot of, it very seldom is it where these things drag on like this with no answers. And I think by about the first week, I was going, I can't make heads or tails of this. I mean, that I think it was day 13, I believe, when they said that there was a shift in the investigation. And I remember going, what? Why? So we're not really looking anymore. Like, this is an investigation. This isn't a search. And it was, so yeah, I thought just like you, I thought he'd be found by now. And I didn't think 2 years later we would still be talking about this, but unfortunately, sometimes this happens, and it happens specifically when there is somebody or some buddies or that are adamant about them not being found. They do a good job of covering their backs and hiding what they know. They swear each other to secrecy. And, the fact that there's a reward out there, typically when rewards pop up, the people that can collect on those rewards can't, because they can't give the information, because it would implicate them in the crime. So, it's kind of like with the Nancy Guthrie case that's going on right now. They put out $1 million. Well, I would assume that the person that would collect on the $1 million would also be implicated in the crime. So,
well, one way I took that, especially the FBI reward that came out, in my mind, what that was it's almost like a signal that they're sending up, going, hey, we're ready to make a deal, and we're really willing to negotiate something, pay cash, whatever, if you're willing to come forward.
Well, TMZ was somebody wrote TMZ and said, for 1 Bitcoin, we'll give you the information. Well, they one-upped them. They said, we'll give you $1 million cash. Yeah. Well, guess who hasn't given any information? They don't even have to go through the authorities to do it. They can call. I think they have something set up where they can do it anonymously and still somehow, receive the money. But they were the ones that, when they said 1 Bitcoin, $60,000, they said, well, we'll give you $1 million. That's the reward. And it's been crickets since. So it seems like people were just, trying to exploit a situation, get some money without information.
Sick.
So, and that's sort of where we're at with the Sebastian Rogers case, where, there's an FBI reward. I don't know that many FBI rewards for just quote unquote missing children, but there are people that would argue with me about it, and I'm really not that interested.
I spent some time trying to find if there were any comparable rewards for a situation. Most of them are more usually like 20,000, 10,000.
Mhm.
So 50,000 was a pretty big reward for
And I
that.
think it still stands, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It
it's still
does.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was at the 6-month mark. I remember, I kind of forget about that, but you were saying about the 13-day, somewhere around there, when they made that announcement that they were shifting to an investigative phase. I remember how disappointing that was for everyone, because up to that point, you'd had the 1,000 people out there searching every day, and people every day, especially here locally, were just hanging on, praying for him to be found. And when they pulled back, it was kind of a defeating.
It was
moment.
terrifying at first because, if someone's out there stalking autistic kids,
Mhm.
as a parent, of a child with autism, that's scary. You don't want your kid to go out inside and play because at first it seemed like an abduction or a possible runaway. Right.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And we'd had that Riley Strain situation happen right around the same time. So there was kind of like this, I don't know, not a paranoia, but it was like, what's going on?
I did not cover that case. I don't think, maybe talked about it one time.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cut and dry, and
there's some weirdness.
Yeah.
there's some weirdness to it, but they, from what I understood, it was that people did get washed away in that riverway quite often.
All
That
the time.
There was a amount of time that they were sort of waiting for, to where typically bodies show up downstream, and it seemed to happen right in that time range. However, I think it came out with that he was just drunk and fell in, is what they came up with. But that will never satisfy everybody. The people, I'm sure there are people that still think like, oh, well, somebody did something. I'm not a huge conspiracy guy when it comes to that kind of stuff, but it was the same thing with the Kylie Rodney case. Covered it very little because I could not pander to the conspiracy of. I mean, to me, it seemed pretty straightforward. Again, I mean, unless somebody has some proof that it was some other way, which there wasn't. That she was driving and she shouldn't have been driving, and drove her car into a lake. I mean, it happened.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask, since we're kind of going into red flags, and especially since you were watching it from within that first couple of days, do you remember when you first kind of made that switch from thinking that this was a lost person to, well, this might be something worse, that there might be some foul play involved?
Yeah. So it was probably about the 4th or 5th day when I started talking with Trevor about this, and there was no sign of them, and so I started to ask, like, so, well, what do you know? What do you know about the parents? And that's when Chris was introduced to me, and then he had claimed that he wasn't at home when Sebastian went missing, which to this day I don't think has ever been verified by any law enforcement official, but only by Chris. And I guess you have to take him at his word until otherwise. But it was sort of I had kind of heard that somewhere before, and so I think when probably about the 4th day when I started hearing that one step parent was distancing themselves from the situation, and I think that was kind of where I'm going. This may not be a runaway, and it was taken. I think it was investigated at the very beginning as a runaway, which I think put them behind the 8 ball. I don't think I don't know if that could ever be changed, where it's like, I think that when children go missing, I think that they need to just lock everything down and go, look, this is an investigation. We're not, we don't know if it's a runaway or not. We're hearing that it might be a runaway, but we don't know. So
Right.
kind of respond to it in a different way instead of putting all your eggs in the searching basket. And that's what they did. And so I always think that that's a mistake when they do that.
Because you've got all these people just walking through the yards and going over tracks and potential evidence and coming and going out of the house until they, even if it's 4 or 5 hours later that they get a feeling that there might be something wrong, it's too late. Your crime scene already contaminated.
Well, the fact that Seth could just walk right in to the house the way that he did blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
When I remember talking to him about it. He was on my show, and him and Tony were there, and I said, did anybody even stop you, ask you who you were, ask for ID or anything? And he goes, no, I just walked right in the house. And I said, I just can't even believe that. I cannot believe that, because I know he's the father, but he shouldn't have been allowed to just walk right in.
Right.
There should have been some, hey, who are you? We got this going on. It seemed like there was none of that,
They just bought the autism wandering off thing, I think,
because it's such a common thing. It's just a common thing. But and I don't remember when Katie came out and said, that he wasn't, that she specifically remember her saying that he wasn't a runner, was what she said. And I think that was like her first interview that she did. And I just did not understand. But I think it was probably about 4 days in. I was like, this seems kind of weird. There was some just suspicion, and I didn't know who or what, but there was some suspicion, at least from me, because going, this may not be a runaway. And then I think it was day 13. On day 13, when they said the investigation had, the search had switched from a search to more investigative case, I went, yeah, this is not what it was billed as at first at all.
Yeah. I think if I were looking at a first thing that made me wonder, right, would be that they weren't doing media that in that first week.
Well, you know what the first red flag was for us.
Before we knew anything, we were just, I was like you, I saw it come across a feed, and I think I was getting ready for bed. Maybe he may have already been missing a day, and I saw it on Facebook. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to tell my wife about it.
No, it was the day of, because I already knew. It was the day of. It was the morning of.
Okay, we disagree on the history of this, but
he's wrong.
I'm not even going to tell my wife about it because I don't want her, because I knew she'd worry about it. He'll probably be found by morning, and that was my thinking going to bed. And then the next morning, I saw he still hadn't been found, and I said, "Hey, did you hear about this kid in Hendersonville?" And then you follow for a day or two thinking he's going to be found, and for us, we're thinking, because this. They mentioned he may have medical conditions that may not make it where he needs assistance. And when I read that, my assumption as an autism parent is, okay, this kid probably has autism like many of these others we've seen. And so I'm thinking with my son, if he's out there, I'm in front of a camera that day saying, hey, he may not respond to this. He may not even answer if you call his name. He'll respond to this or this. He likes these locations, and I would have been out there because I would know that if he were alone, people may not know exactly how to communicate with him. I would have, that would have been an urgent thing in my mind to get him in front of cameras to let the public know how to approach him,
Well, and that was the thing, is that when there was no public plea immediately, like, hey, we need help finding our son, that always bothers me. It happened in the Summer Wells case. I think they waited. I think it was 13 days as well. before Don and Candace did a to this day one of the oddest interviews I've ever seen in a missing child's case. It was repugnant. It was disgusting. It was callous and soulless. I've never seen anything like it. It would have almost been better if they would have done nothing, but they might as well have done nothing. It was that bad.
The first interview they did on day 13 or so.
We've got to have Josh back. He's got to show us these things because
it's the worst. And I think, I'm sure there's some people in the chat that had seen it, but I call it the Sermon on the Mount. And it was so pathetic and just grotesque. Candace looked she was high as a kite, and Dawn was so cavalier, saying, we've got to kind of accept the fact that, and it's just like, but you don't know anything yet, why would you, why are you ready to, it seems like you're ready to, he was apologizing to the searchers. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. They just look like it was terrible. One of the worst things. It's the worst interview I've ever seen when it comes to a missing child case.
Wow. I mean, there's some bad ones out there that I've seen.
Wow.
We just don't know that. We just don't know that case as well. We're just weren't following that. So it's one of those that we've really mostly through your channel. I've picked up bits and parts here and there as you've kind of revisited certain things.
Yeah.
I think Rob misunderstood. No.
Yeah, no, the Sermon on the Mount wasn't good. Don becomes religious when he wants to be. And so,
gotcha.
And then when he's not religious, he's threatening to kill people. So it was just him sort of trying to preach to everybody. And so I was being facetious. So
yes, I picked yes. So, I picked
Sorry,
up
Rob.
Right, little sarcasm. And people, when we started doing Sebastian and covering, everyone would say, "Oh, this reminds me so much of Summer Wells," and so that was another. We started finding, in retrospect, these different. I mean, they are different, but there are some similarities between the two.
The major difference is obviously, it's the economic status is really the difference. Other than that, there's too many parallels to even connect. It's did she want did she wander off, and did she did the way that it was handled at the very beginning was sort of the same. It was just there are so many similarities, but it's the economic status that's sort of different. Sebastian lived in kind of an affluent neighborhood, really nice neighborhood, and Summer lived what I would consider in filth.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I think about the McDonough visit out there all the time, where Candace walks him through the property and everything, and when you get down to that little basement area, and that's where that child was living, it's just.
And that is where the hate came from Dawn and Candace towards McDonough, was because he blew the lid off of their living situation. But he didn't do it in a way that was disrespectful, but the reaction of people when they saw it went, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here? And then Don was like, he turned the mob against us, and he ruined our, he says, I ruined his life. He says, Chris ruined his life. And I said, Don, your life was ruined far before I ever came. I'm not going to take that award.
I'll tell you why I do like looking at other cases, comparing those. I do believe in pattern recognition. And I think that criminals really aren't that different. What they do, you can
You
if you can find a criminal here, you're going to find that similar pattern in other cases. So I like visiting other cases and seeing where the similarities are. And the one that strikes me with Summer and Sebastian to compare is the certainty of what happened to both children when they shouldn't really know, because Candace and Dawn, they were certain she was abducted, if I understand correctly. They that was the narrative. They believed that somebody came up, and that, at least for a time,
up the mountain,
up that mountain with all the dogs, and
13 dogs disappeared.
Yeah,
I mean, one of them barked. It was a full. It was mom, grandma, and the 3 boys, and Summer. And apparently, Summer was in the basement alone, and somebody somehow managed to sneak up onto the property without alerting either mom or grandma, or walked right past the 3 boys, went down into that hole in the ground, took Summer out of there off the hill with no detection. None.
Nobody would go on that property like that.
No.
That way.
Not that I know of.
When you see it, it's impossible. There's no way. There's just
and not only that, they were the grandma and mom were supposed to be outside too. They had to walk right past them. They would have had, because they said the basement door was locked and all this stuff. And there's so much to it. But yeah, the certainty, with Sebastian, he ran away. How do you know that? How would you know? He's never ran away before, but he ran away. Okay, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
And they know he walks out the front door. There's other doors he could have exited.
Sure.
But they are certain, and they want you to believe he walked out. I don't know why he walked out that particular
red flag
door is what they would say. So it's those
shoes.
Right.
It felt like
the door locked.
Yeah, he locked the door somehow on the other side.
Yeah.
So where really what innocent people should be saying is, I don't know, anything's possible. I don't know what happened. But that's not the case. Because Summer, Sebastian, you could think abduction, runaway, lost. It should have all been on the table. But they in both situations, they had narratives that they wanted to sell. And that certainly, I think, is a red flag. The certainty.
I want to hear one of Josh's.
Yeah. So what?
I mean, I think that there's a lot of them, but one of the biggest red flag, I think, to me was that when they did that first interview, and when Katie really didn't seem to make eye contact with Chris, and when she said that he was not a runner, but that he ran away, you're just going, well, how does that make any sense at all? And as soon as you hear that, you just go, well, that's a narrative that somebody seems to be pushing, because I would never, ever suspect a child that has never ran away before to run away and to not be seen by anybody. No cameras, no neighbors, no anything, none of it. So when it's the narrative, like you just said, that would be the biggest red flag. But then also you have the, I heard a thud, the thud in the room.
Yeah.
I didn't get up to check. I didn't go to check on him. Okay. I guess you could somewhat try to justify that. But you have a child that has special needs. You hear a thud loud enough in the living room. I have boys that thud. There were thuds for coming from the room all the time.
Sure.
Yeah, we know the thuds.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
The thing that bothered me too, in with that, was the victim shaming. Why I didn't go in there. He's a teenage boy, and moms don't want to walk in on teenage boys. It's like I felt like that was the beginning of victim shaming a little bit,
Yeah, well, come to find out, he didn't have a doorknob on his. He didn't even have a doorknob on his door.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
No, I
they
didn't
took the
realize.
doorknob off.
Why? Do we know why?
Punishment, maybe. I don't know.
Controlling.
Yeah, the controlled seems like a thing. When you listen to all of the interviews over time, it always does seem like there's an issue with like the food, which I think if you ever watch Peter Hyatt, he kind of picked up on that.
Yeah.
But they're always kind of like, oh, the snacks, and he likes to eat, and it does seem like that was a part of his life. There was controlling what he ate and food, and because it just kind of comes out in their interviews. I'll tell you,
There's
for
a
me,
lot of food talk.
the biggest red flag overall to me about there was a problem was the shoes, that they were all accounted for, and him, when that detail came out, I could not wrap my head around that for a 15-year-old, late February, leaving the house, and the shoes were there, because what that makes me think is that he didn't walk out, he was carried out. And that whoever carried him out forgot about the shoes.
Yeah.
That's just what I think that means.
Yeah, I mean, what, I don't know. I don't even like going outside barefoot to take the trash out. If we're talking about a child with sensory issues, come on, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder if that shoe fact would have come out had Seth not drawn attention to it, saying, when he got to the house, all of his shoes were there.
Right.
And I wonder if that would have even been brought up through Katie or Chris had Seth not noticed that and not made that vocal.
Yes. So Seth told us in our chat one night that he was the one that pointed out the shoes all being there, that at that point, the investigators at the house that morning hadn't taken account on his shoes yet. And Seth claims it was him that pointed it out to them. And he got there several hours after.
Yes.
Sebastian would have been gone.
And he noticed the shoe situation.
Yeah. That's the way he tells the story.
Early on, when we were doing our Sebastian streams, that used to be our kind of catchphrase. It always comes back to the shoes.
Yeah.
So we would come up with these scenarios of, well, this could have happened, and then it would always come back to the shoes.
Yeah. The shoes have always been the biggest problem for me with any other possible scenario outside of something bad happening in the house.
I see.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I'd forgotten about that, but she's right. Plus, the Proudfoot's driveway and walkways are aggregate rock, and that's really uncomfortable. Yeah. And she says that hurts your feet. So yeah, that's a good point.
Not to mention it was February, even though it was a kind of unseasonably warmer that day. It's February.
Crazy warm.
It was almost 70 that day, I believe you all said.
Today's pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, today was a pretty nice day, actually, as well. Not quite as warm as that day.
Yeah.
It was a good turnout today.
Yeah. So if people don't know, the last few days, Seth and several folks and supporters have been out there in front of the sheriff's office demonstrating and, holding up signs and just trying to raise overall awareness. But Bullhorn Betty led it up, and so she had that streaming all day. We met a lot of the folks that are in the chat right now.
And Lady Freedom, we met her.
Lady Freedom came out.
Very kind.
Very good to meet her. Astrology for Mystics.
She wanted to have me on her show too. Just it hasn't happened yet, but I like her. I think she does good stuff too.
Yeah, she's been
very kind.
Yeah, she was great to talk to. We talked a little bit about Devlin Tate, which is a case she's been really kind of honed in on, and so
that's another odd case.
It's just great meeting all these people in person,
And I want to say the doorknob thing is something, maybe not a lot of people did know about that. And I don't know if I was supposed to say it or not, and I don't really care, but it's been, I've gotten at least 2 different confirmations about that doorknob being removed, that Chris removed the doorknob. Now I'm sure he'd probably dispute that, but it happened.
Well, and there was a lot of dispute about the mattress being in, there was a mattress in the garage. They made him sleep out there. And,
I
we
don't
heard
know
a
about
lot of misinformation, rumor about the whole living situation in general. So we probably just chalked that doorknob up to one of those. But it's good to know that that's been confirmed.
Yeah, and I do think that, somebody said that they had heard it before, and they might have. I mean, I didn't think that I was the only one with that information, but
I always joke about, we've never had to keep more secrets than when we came on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
We have to keep, and we forget as well what secrets are, what we're not supposed to share and what we're supposed to share. Sorry, I'm a little bit, I'm a huge fan of Josh, so I'm a little bit like bumbly tonight.
Oh yeah.
You're just starstruck.
Thank you.
No, I get it. I mean,
am I wrong? Am I telling the truth? I'm always listening to Josh.
Yeah. I mean, that's you're
we
definitely
all listen.
I do want to say one thing. I love the story about him going to dinner that you played from your comedy podcast, I think, where you go to your friend's house for dinner.
Yeah.
I love that. You played it again the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I love that one. That's a great story." Sorry.
That was an all-timer, man. That was, when that happened, it sort of just turned out to be, I guess, one of those magical 13 minutes where it just went off the rails, where it just turned into this thing where it was the dinner party where he's like, "It's not a dinner party." And I said, "Well, it felt like you invited me to a dinner party." And he was like, "I just wanted to hang out. You turned it into this whole thing." And he was very upset with me about it. So you can actually find that. You can find, it's called The Dinner Party on Lab After Dark. It's a 13-minute video. And my friend, Lucas, who's my best friend, is absolutely hilarious.
Mad.
He gets so mad at me. His reaction to a lot of things. A lot of the podcast that him and I did was him and I arguing about stuff constantly, where he wouldn't use the microphone correctly, or and he would just complain. And so we would go at it. And so, yeah, that we had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one, so I'll have to go back and visit the
dinner
party, right?
Yeah, the dinner party. It's ridiculous.
It reminded me because I've heard it a couple times, and I always enjoy it when he plays it because it's really funny.
I get people ask me if I'll play it at the end of certain shows, and I'll play it because they.
It's that good. It's getting like requests, like Freebird.
It's his Freebird.
It's your Freebird.
It's my free, exactly. It's my Tuesday's gone.
right. All right, everybody, one more time.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay, I got to hear that then.
It's fun.
And do you have a new gig coming up in sports or something?
Yeah.
So what is that going to be?
So
or can you talk about it?
Is it too early?
Yeah, mid-March. I'm going to be doing it's going to be right around the beginning of the season, but it's going to be a locally syndicated sports talk show, baseball centric, but not exclusively. But I will also simulcast it on YouTube. Cool. And I haven't revealed the channel yet because I do have to wait a little bit for that. But when I do, I'll put it out. And some people, it'll be I think it should be fun. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see.
You'll love it. He's Mr. Sports.
Yeah. I'll definitely check it out.
I love.
I didn't realize it was that secretive already. I just figured you.
No, it's not really secretive. I mean, it's just that we're still working out some of the details. I guess is all that because it's gonna be like a Northern California terrestrial broadcast as well.
Yeah.
So then,
that's awesome.
But I'm also gonna simulcast it on, for people that want to listen to it on YouTube as well. So yeah,
I'm sure you're gonna have people that from your channel want to check out what you're doing. So it's cool. Well, very good.
We did have a question from one of our
looks like viewers. Our sweet Sharon Marlowe.
Yes. As she said, the issue I have with Summer and Sebastian is why the sheriffs will not let federal law enforcement come take over at this point. It just feels off. What are your all's opinions on that?
I
Well,
mean,
there's certain criteria, right? That this is actually a big thing that they were protesting today outside the sheriff's office. Everyone was calling the FBI. That's what a lot of the signs that were up. But I don't. There has to be certain criteria they have to meet to really take over the case, which I don't
Well,
think either of these have met.
that, and I think that the sheriff's departments have to be willing to turn it over. They have ultimate jurisdiction. The feds cannot just come in and say, this is our case now, unless a federal crime has been committed. And, it would have to be like, when bank robberies, that's all federal, local response to it. They're initially on the scene, but when the feds show up, they say, give us all your stuff, go watch the door. But other than that, the sheriffs have ultimate jurisdiction. You're seeing that a lot in the Nancy Guthrie case as well.
Mhm.
People are calling for the FBI to take it over, and I think the FBI is willing to take it over, but the sheriff has to be willing to turn it over. And sometimes it just seems like, I the FBI is involved. I mean, I think that they're working together, but it's
Well, the
more.
sheriff said that today in his statement. He said the FTBI and FBI were involved.
Yeah. So it's more of like upon request, and so, but I think that the feds have to be willing to take it over as well. That they don't really work, missing children's cases,
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, and really the FBI is not that big of an agency. If they tried to do every missing person homicide in the country, they really don't have, it's not that big an agency to spread out all those agents.
Well, I mean, there's a case in the 50s when 50s or 60s where there was a house fire, and I can't remember how many of the children were in the fire, but they said that the children had perished in the fire, but they found no remains of any of the children that were supposed to be in there. And they think that maybe the children were kidnapped before it happened, then the house burned down. But the official report was that the children had perished in the fire. And they got very scientific about it, and they wrote to the FBI. The parents wrote to the FBI, and they said, look, because the parents, I believe they got a couple of the Sauter kids. That's right. They got a couple of the children got out. And they asked the FBI, Hoover himself, they asked, and he said, it's not really something we do. We would be willing to give you some resources, but it's just not something that we do. So it's kind of a bummer.
This is kind of along the same lines. Lisa Boo always says, allegedly the federal marshal paperwork was sent to SCSO to be signed off, and that has not happened.
I've heard that too.
We've heard that that's the case, that they've had it and they could get assistance from the U.S. Marshals, but they're not willing to request that involvement, which leaves me with kind of two paths in my thinking. Either they believe they don't need it, and that they are working the case, and maybe they're just a few months away from wrapping it up, or it's kind of an ego thing. They are stuck, but they don't want the help. I don't know. That's kind of where that leaves me on.
Well, with the again, with the Cold Case Foundation, they have offered to come into both Summer's case and Sebastian's case, and the offer hasn't been accepted yet, but it's still there, and hopefully it's a standing offer for the way that I understand it, and hopefully, and it's a lot of resources, and a lot of expertise. Like I said, the Cold Case Foundation worked the Michael Vaughn case. It wasn't just Chris McDonough. He was there. Obviously, he was kind of running a lot of what was going on. But when it came to interrogate, I'm sure you guys heard I don't know if you heard the interrogations or not, but McDonough was out there when they were searching for Michael in the yard, and he was being directed by Stacy Wandra at the time, and Fruitland Police Department welcomed them in with open arms. And Michael still hasn't been found, but there is charges, murder charges that have been levied. So, I believe that the Cold Case Foundation was a big reason for that.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean they've had some successes, so they've got a track record.
They solve crimes all the time, all the time. It's
Ones
just
we don't even realize. Yeah,
it's just not national news. It's not, it's just, but they solve crimes constantly. I mean, they have they're not all retired. The people that work there, some of them are retired, some of them are active. I mean, they have profilers and psychologists like Dr. Gary. He's a forensic psychologist that works on the Cold Case Foundation as well. And then you have homicide detectives. You have Ann Burgess. You have who was part of the behavioral analysis unit for the FBI. Helped create that. It's a resource that people should be more agencies should be more open to. The problem is, once again, you have a lot of ego with a lot of local law enforcement, so that's the issue a lot of the time.
And I think, it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing for anyone to have any case that's going cold, especially if they're high profile. It's a black eye for any department. And so I think they believe it looks weak to accept the help.
Sure.
Probably it's human nature. So I understand that.
But I think part of being a successful, department is asking for help, because not everybody has all the answers. Yeah. Yep. A lot of it is just good old nose to the grindstone detective work. Everybody wants forensics. Everybody wants phone data. They want DNA. They want this. Well, a lot of the times they don't have that stuff.
Miss Kelsey is saying, I think they haven't cleared Seth because it would be too obvious.
That I agree 100%.
Well, I think, I've talked with people, but I appreciate a pressure campaign. I liked what they did with D. Warner with the Cold Case Foundation when the billboard,
great. Billy,
help Dale find his wife. That kind of thing, I believe, works. I think people crack and make mistakes.
Billy Little is a monster, and him and McDonough ratcheted that one up. And I mean, they got it turned over to the state police, the Michigan State Police, because they were saying, look, local law enforcement's like they suck right now. I don't. Whoever's in charge of this is not doing their job properly, and it needs to be turned over to the state police. And once it got turned over to the state police, that's when it really started to pick up momentum. And it was a pressure campaign, but there were a lot of really big issues with that investigation.
Yeah,
even more so than in Sebastian's case. In Sebastian's case, it's just crickets.
Yeah. See, I believe in making people uncomfortable. And I think what Kelsey's saying, I think if you actually did come out and clear Seth, indirectly, you'd be putting a lot of pressure on the actual perpetrators and suspects.
That may be the case, but he's also never really been implicated. He's only been implicated by sleuths online.
Yeah. I mean,
you're right. That's a good
He's,
point.
he's never been
They
he's
did-
never been a suspect.
Yeah, they
Right.
didn't ask him to take a polygraph. He did that on his own.
I think they
what?
talked his house the first day, and that was it.
Right.
One of the
Well,
things
Nancy Grace asked. I remember Nancy asking him about it, but I don't think he ever took one.
Who, Seth? He
No.
took one for Nancy Grace.
No, I'm talking about Chris.
Seth will tell you that he calls and once in a while, and nobody will talk to him. Say, hey, can I come in and talk? And he just gets ghosted now. That in my mind, that would tell you, well, then they clearly do not think that Seth is a suspect at all. Because if he were your suspect in any form or fashion, you would welcome every opportunity that he wanted to come and sit and talk to you, because you'd be trying to get information from him.
If Seth was the last person to see Sebastian, then he would be under a cloud of suspicion like you've never seen.
Yes.
And that is what's going on with Katie, because she was the last person in custody of a missing child. And the urgency just has never been there. Now, does that mean that she did something? No. But for parents that look at it, they feel infuriated by it. Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, God forbid anything like that ever happened to my children. I would legitimately crawl on a roof and scream at the top of my lungs every single night, begging them to come home. Please come home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened, but please, and there is a distinct difference in the way that the parents have handled this case. And now I'm not saying Seth has done everything perfect. I will not say that. But there's also there's no good way to act either. But I never even once questioned his story, the genuineness of his story. Never one time.
No. And Josh, Michelle had this has been, people have asked us a million times. Can you explain the cold case thing? Cold case is offered help to the police, correct?
Yeah, they have to be invited in by the police department.
By the police. It has nothing to do with anybody being cleared or anything like that, right?
No, I mean, I heard a little bit about that. I mean, I've heard that rumor before, but it's not really about him being cleared, but it's about just because they wouldn't be working on behalf of Seth. They'd be working on behalf of
Sebastian.
law enforcement. So it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if he was cleared or not cleared.
I didn't realize that. So it's not really a relationship where they're essentially like a PI. They're really more an aid to law enforcement.
Not at all. When the Cold Case Foundation went in to Fruitland, they have very little contact with the parents.
Gotcha.
They interview them and stuff like that, but they work the case. They're not there to be look, if it led back to somebody, which why would somebody ask for that help? Seth has asked for the help of the Cold Case Foundation, right. I get it. Like, why would he ask for them to come in and then by some miracle or some weird turn of events, it leads back to Seth or whoever was the one that asked them to come in, which would be wild, but they wouldn't discriminate. Whoever did it. And that's how it is. And they would certainly have no problems turning that person over.
Well, I appreciate you helping with that, because it's one of these topics that every time we talk about the Sebastian case, Cold Case Foundation eventually comes up.
I think we all want them
because everybody just wants this solved. People want U.S. Marshals, dog, cold case, PIs.
Well, not
whatever,
everybody
whatever.
wants them, which is another red flag.
Yeah, okay. There are
So.
some people that don't want any help, that are happy. Actually,
Yeah, and
thrilled
when
with the way
dog
this is
call, yeah, when dog calls your house and says, "I want to help," and you say, "No."
Yeah, I mean that was it was the same thing with in Summer's case. I think that there may, I think that there is a chance that the cold case eventually will get called in to help, but I do not think the current administration is too keen on it for whatever reason. I don't know. But Dawn and Candace don't want the help, and Chris even said, "Look, I'll recuse myself from it. Dawn, if you guys don't trust me, fine. That there are many other people at the Cold Case Foundation that can work the case. Have to be me."
Can I ask this part about Chris with Don and Candace? Because it seemed when he went out there, I don't know all the interviews, but when he was there that day, he seemed like he was pretty respectful.
Yeah, it was fine. Yes.
It was the
So
aftermath.
why did they
wasn't it?
have an issue with McDonough, or do they?
Well, because Dawn was supposed to be there that day with Candace to the interview, and it sounded like Dawn was ducking Chris that day, and Chris kind of made it known that Candace was kind of tipping him off of where they were going to be at and stuff like that. And after 3 days, Chris had left town and had called. He called McDonough, and that's when all the stuff about his stepsister started coming out, because his stepsisters went to the FBI and said, "Look, when I was 5 years old, Dawn abused me."
Right.
And one of the sisters was having a really tough time knowing that his 5-year-old daughter is missing. And then she goes, "I remember what happened to me when I was 5. So Dawn blames Chris for doing that. But they went to the FBI well before they had ever been introduced to Chris. They called the FBI themselves and said, "Look, this is what had happened." Well, obviously everybody picked up on it, and it sort of became a part of the story, unfortunately, because I mean, it seems important. It seems like past behavior is indicative of future and current behavior. So
Sure.
I don't have any proof of anything like that. I just know what was said, and Dawn ended up admitting to it many times, kind of brushing it off, but saying, well, I was this and it was just a very, so there were a lot of things, and it became personal. And after that, I had no sympathy for Dawn whatsoever. A little bit for Candace, but I not really, I mean, less for Dawn. Dawn is what we consider I don't know if you're allowed to say this on the show, but I say a pile of shit.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I did. Yeah, my French isn't that great, but
I mean, the kids can hear, but that's fine.
Well, Dawn loves me. Yeah, we're buddies. Dawn and I are buddies. Not really at all.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know who he hates more. I don't know if he hates me more or Chris more, but it's a close race. It might be Chris by just a smidge, but I don't think he's ever actually threatened to stab Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say he threatened you, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, more than one time, but one time was a good one. He was on a major bender. I also got blamed for him. We all got blamed for him getting caught drinking and driving one night because he was on a panel with us and we were talking. He was hammered. I mean, he was so drunk, like that. I'm telling you, this guy is such a drunk. I don't know I'm sure he still is. That when alcohol does its taxes, it lists him as a dependent. Okay. This guy was drinking like It was called R&R, and he was on panel with us. He gets off panel, says he has to go get cigarettes, and gets pulled over and ends up doing 8 months in jail. And people were like, they baited Don into drinking and driving. And I'm going, Don doesn't need to be baited into drinking. That's what he does, man. So we got blamed for a lot of stuff that almost at the time a 60-year-old man was doing.
Right.
Wow.
But it's fine with me. I didn't care.
So, you know, if we're looking at similarities between those two cases too, you know, we have CPS being involved multiple times with Sebastian. I assume CPS had been involved leading up to Summer's disappearance, or was that all after?
No, well, according to Don, that there was CPS leading up to it. He said that I think it was the day before Summer went missing that CPS came up there and cleared them, which is a lie because
that's
the
that's a
CPS
very
clear
similar story
people?
with Sebastian, isn't it?
it's very similar. What's that?
I think he says, I think Chris says that the CPS case on him was closed and the only active one was because Sebastian was missing. Something along those
No,
lines.
I think he said it to Josh on Smileys. Wasn't it something like that?
I confronted him about the CPS case.
Oh, that's right. It was you. I'm putting you back to you.
It always ends up with me.
You remember who?
I'm very confrontational at times. Yeah, I asked him if he had any active CPS cases, knowing the answer. And he went on this whole tangent of, no, you asked if it was, you know, they had closed that case. You asked if I had any active cases.
Right.
And I
That's
said,
right.
well, wasn't there an active case when he went missing? And he goes, yeah, that was the only one. I said, so that's the only CPS case. And he goes, that's the only active CPS case. And I said, okay, but you're not really being truthful here. You're being disingenuous about what you're saying.
There was a red flag on that one too.
It was a huge red flag.
It was your fault, Josh, for not knowing the correct way to phrase the question. It's not Chris's responsibility.
Right.
You know,
very mad. He was very mad at me. And, you know, and he says, I remember that. It was so funny because I said, okay, well, whatever, you know, fair enough. It's semantics, you know, but he goes, but there, come to find out, there were multiple, you know, calls to that house and multiple CPS cases. But he was so mad because I basically, I wouldn't say basically, I told him he wasn't being truthful, which basically calling somebody a liar, which pissed him off. Fair enough. And, but then he wanted to get really technical about it. So then I said, okay, dude, right, whatever. Active, not active, whatever. So, and he was, he did not like that. He did not like that at all. And, that was the start of another contentious relationship, that's still sort of active to this day. You know?
Yeah.
They're asking you to play the toilet clip, Josh.
Oh, of Dawn.
Yeah. And while he's looking for that, we've had it. You haven't ever heard it? Okay.
I saw in the chat somebody referencing Dawn sitting on a toilet calling it or something. Is that what we're talking about?
For a few things, wannabe
I don't know this.
sleuthing something. Asked a long time ago if she was invisible. I let her know in chat she was not.
I know. I'm so sorry.
He gets caught up. He loves to interview people, so he gets caught up.
I do. So I'm kind of. I'm probably not looking at chat.
No,
like
you're
I normally
not.
do because I'm. You know.
You're enjoying yourself, and you're. Yeah, I get it.
But yes. So I apologize. But thank you for the super chat.
And to our Texas Cowgirl Up became a new member, and she also wanted to know if we had seen the Crime Time Buzz tip video from yesterday. Very interesting. We have seen it. It's my understanding because I actually reached out to Seth's team about it We had dinner with Seth. And it seems to be that was an older clip and that they were aware of it. So, and I
nothing
think it's
new.
already been looked into. From my understanding, I may not have understood correctly, but from my understanding, it has already been looked into. They've already kind of
cleared that.
Yeah. And then Miss Kelsey gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much,
Wow.
Kelsey.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Oops, I just put the wrong one up again. Okay,
Much
I'm stopping. Whoever's
appreciated.
doing it, I'm stopping. Okay.
Oh, I didn't do anything.
I didn't touch it.
And if you received a gift of membership from any of our gifted people tonight, please tell them thank you, including Kelsey and I believe Melissa and Mallycat, all gifted memberships. Thank you guys so much. And Andrea says, great to see you all tonight at dinner and enjoyed Josh with you tonight. Thanks for keeping Sebastian's name out there. You want to talk about one of the sweetest ladies in the whole wide world? Right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't have talked more. It was just, it's so hard to talk to.
We were rushing out the door. We thought we had plenty of time.
Yeah.
And we did not. We barely made it here. I think we had about 7 minutes to spare. So we barely made it home.
You know what? It's actually loaded on my StreamYard. I don't have it.
It's okay. No worries.
Basically, it's just without being too disgustingly graphic. Don was absolutely hammered again one night, and he was on somebody's panel, and he sits down on the toilet for like 4,000 people to see.
Oh,
twigs and berries and everything.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Sits down and everybody was like, "Oh my god, he just went to the bathroom live on." And so then when he was confronted about it, he goes, "Well, actually, I was just sitting down to pee, but whatever." And I clipped that, and then I just kept playing it. Yeah, like who cares? I kept playing it over and over and over, and because that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
That's really funny.
He did that twice.
A repeat offender.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
In hindsight, we love you, Hindsight. You're the best.
Yes.
She had some information about CPS for us.
So Hindsight says CPS would have only been notified if there was an already open case or if Ellie saw reason for them to be notified during their findings. In general, runaways are not reported for just running away.
But there was other cases. So that's exactly why there was a CPS. That's why CPS was involved at the very beginning. And I knew that. And so when I had that conversation with him and was talking to him about it, then I heard him on Smiley's, and I had no intent. I wasn't trying to get involved there, but I heard him and I was like, he's lying. That's what I felt. And I still stick by that today. I felt that that's sort of he was doing was he was being disingenuous. He wasn't really telling the whole truth. And he was like, I'm being honest and everything. So I was like, okay, well, not really. So
yeah. He misled you. He knew he was misleading you.
Yeah, he was just lying about it. So.
Well, and it's my inclination that the whole reason he was gone for February is because they had not resolved the last report, and he may have been asked to leave the home until it was resolved.
Well, that's something that they also believe was a possibility with Dawn, because Dawn was living in some rentals that he was working on. While there was an active CPS case going on, and he so much where he had like a mini fridge and a microwave, where he was at. So I've heard that theory too, and it makes sense because it does happen. Where they say this person needs to leave. I don't have any confirmation that that's what happened, but it wouldn't surprise me, especially if there were prior CPS cases.
That happens a lot. I mean, in what I did before was a school administrator, and we saw that all the time where the parent was ordered out until the investigation was complete, or certain remediation steps like parenting classes, things like that. They would order certain steps to be taken so that the case could be closed and they could deem it safe for the child to be in the home with the parents. And so sure. I know that it makes so much sense that he was gone all of February, and I just think that had to be it.
You know how earlier we were talking about like that all these parents with all these missing person or unsolved crime, they all get dug into, and it's not out of meanness. It's not out of cruelty. But when you look at the big picture on what was going on in Sebastian's life, and there was a year and a half ramping up of all these CPS reports coming out to the house for whatever was going on. And then we know that Seth and Katie and Chris were all talking about sending him off to a school because whatever was going on, they felt like they had to send him away just a few months before he disappears.
Yeah.
And we know all this custody issue is coming up with the other daughter, the 7-year-old, shortly after Sebastian ended up going missing.
Which was a whole issue in and of itself.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's all part of the picture. And it does not, it would be difficult to imagine that that's all a coincidence, that just happens to be the first time Sebastian in 15 years in his life decides to walk out the door and disappear.
Sure.
It just,
Right.
it's not out of cruelty or meanness or wanting to dig up dirt on people. It's trying to understand what was going on in his life and what could be a reason that he's not here today.
Well, the PI said that from the beginning. Remember, they said that we have to look to the months leading up to the disappearance to understand. That was one of the first things they said. I think they said it on Web Sleuth.
And Chris deliberately misleading people and playing down these CPS reports and the belt whipping incident and all that, it's just part of the red flag big picture there.
Well, and the biggest red flag to me is the discussions of removing him into another setting, whether it be like a boys' ranch or, this tough love type of situation, or a school, a disciplined school out of the home. I mean, all that discussion led up to this disappearance. That's not coincidence.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Texas Plain Jane says, wasn't the last CPS report in January 2024? I thought it was February. Was it not?
I think that's right.
No, yeah, that is right.
I think that's right.
That's why I said that he was
murky.
ordered. Well, I think that's why he was ordered to leave, and he was not in the home during the month of February.
In your opinion,
And
in my opinion,
of
it
course,
makes sense.
Chris doesn't say it's 5. Chris, if you remember early on, he called it like, well, there was this, and they all kind of got wrapped up together, and whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
He kind of like, that blah 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 kind of talk.
It was a CPS burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just throw it all together into one report or whatever. So he kind of tried to make it all sound like one incident when it really wasn't. We later learned. But anyway, he did eventually acknowledge that there were at least 3. So it's somewhere between 3 to 5.
Also, Nicey Marie had a good red flag that I thought I saved for you guys.
Nicey Marie, good to see you. CP is the one that will not give his timeline. Suspicious for someone, knows everything to know what went on without being there. Yeah. He does speak in the we a lot on the night of Sebastian's disappearance, where it should be just Katie. And this was something I learned the hard way with this case later. We thought we knew things. And then as we looked back, we said, a lot of what we believe happened really is just Chris's word.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not things that law enforcement ever acknowledged. And
we made a mistake.
We kind of made a mistake of thinking there was
that
some truth.
Right. That we could believe him.
To the time. But we don't actually know about the 9 to midnight phone call. We don't know that he was in Memphis at all.
Not for a fact.
Not for like a 100% fact. A lot of what we think we know is really just
what was given.
What we've been told.
Yeah.
Right.
And hey, Seth.
Hey, Seth. Good to see you.
Let's put some green hearts in chat for Seth and show him your love. He's it's a difficult day for him.
Yeah, it's a hard day out there.
It's been a long week. We're pretty tired
every day, and you're out there on the pavement and all that, and it's you had dozens and dozens of people coming.
Everybody wants
giving you hugs and wanting to talk to you, and all of that's emotionally exhausting, I'm sure. But you did
How
great.
many people were out there?
World Me Too said about 60 at the max today.
Yeah, some people kind of came and went. They'd be there for a couple of hours. We were there.
A couple of hours. Yeah.
And so
we had kids and
school
feeding children and
people driving by honking the horn constantly. Several police officers honking the horn, even.
The Gallatin police were really honking the horns.
Yeah. So it was, it was nice. It was a lot of good from it.
And like you said earlier, but I think before we got on, that we just really, it's so nice to meet the people that we talk to in chat, or, you know, it, the biggest hearts you've ever seen are these people that come out to these events.
There are a lot of people that don't really want to be out there, but they're very passionate about
Right.
Sebastian's case and really wanting resolution, and they're not giving up on it, and they don't really want their faces or names or whatever out there, you know what I mean? But there are people that really care about this kid, and want some kind of answers and resolution. And I felt very optimistic about the case for the first year or so. It felt like there was always some kind of movement, things happening. We'd hear different things. Some became public, some not. But the last 6 months to a year, I'm not sure if this thing's not ice cold. It's just hard to know, but I'm not sure it's going anywhere
You
right
do
now.
wonder.
Well, and like I said, the sheriff's statement today absolutely said nothing. It said nothing. It was a whole lot of nothing. No, not really anything at all that you could say, oh, they're really still working hard on it. You can tell by what they say. I just thought it seemed very blah.
It was not, there was definitely no information from that today. People are upset because they haven't talked to the public like in any kind of news conference since April of that year. That's a kind of because if you want awareness, they're really not doing anything to bring awareness to his case by putting out a statement annually on their Facebook page.
You know, who even knows if the statement wasn't because of the attention this week at downtown.
I was gonna say, do you want to read it? I think Josh said he hadn't heard it. Yeah,
I couldn't. Would you mind to pull it up?
I'll pull it up. Sure, it's on our community
Oh, it's
wall.
on ours, isn't it? Okay, we'll do it that way.
Yeah, you put it up.
Have we
I should
mentioned he's
visit
not
our-
a technical person? Have we mentioned that?
Okay, well, I can find that.
Yeah, NorCal Soul Gal said the press release was just the same old noise, in my opinion. That's kind of the way I felt too. It just did a whole lot of nothing.
I do appreciate though that they did it, but I do think the pressure from out in front of the office made that happen.
Oh, I mean, I would be surprised if there wasn't kind of some noise going on, that they probably would have just skipped it all together.
Well, they declined the news interview. I think Channel 2 or somebody reached out to them. Or 5. They reached out to them and they said no.
Well, you know what? I don't know for sure. I'm just throwing out numbers.
It was a Nashville station that did the.
But the news station said that they declined.
Yes.
Mhm.
Great, awesome.
Yeah.
So that was a little.
That's so ridiculous.
I know.
mean, I don't understand that.
Can you blow it up a little?
Remember how I taught you? There you go.
Is that good?
Can you
All right,
read
so
it?
Yeah, I can.
Can you make it even bigger? Because it's really small.
Okay. I can just scroll
There
down.
you go.
All right. So this is 2-year anniversary missing person case Sebastian Rogers. It has been 2 years since Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was last seen in Hendersonville, Tennessee. While time has passed, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office remains committed to finding answers. Sebastian's disappearance remains an active and ongoing investigation. As we mark this difficult anniversary, we assure the public that Sebastian has not been forgotten. We remain committed as we continue to seek answers. Our focus remains where it has always been, finding Sebastian and delivering truth and accountability through facts, not noise. Sebastian remains a missing person, and his disappearance continues to be treated as an active and open investigation. From the beginning, this case has involved extensive law enforcement coordination, including local, state, and federal partners. Law enforcement agencies, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and Federal Bureau of Investigation, continue to follow every credible lead. The FBI is still offering a reward for information that could lead to his whereabouts or to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office urges the public to rely only on official information released through law enforcement channels. Rumors, speculation, and unverified claims, including social media posts that misrepresent investigative facts, distract from the investigation and lead to misinformation. While law enforcement does not publicly release most investigative details, out of necessity to protect the integrity of the case, we want to be clear on a few important points. Sebastian has never been removed from missing person databases. The case has never been closed or suspended. All credible tips are reviewed and followed up appropriately.
Yeah.
Well, there's more.
There's
What-
one more page.
There's one more page. It's
Before
short.
Okay, I'll
It's like a paragraph.
okay.
See the little arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit more than a paragraph.
There is-
It's cut
Actually,
off.
3 paragraphs.
What'd
Yeah.
you do?
I know, it's
You
just cut
broke it.
off.
Do you want me to text it to you? So you
You
can
have to
read it?
click on it, don't you?
Can
I'm
you
telling you, it's a constant battle, Josh.
click on that? Click on that little picture thing.
Just click on the.
Does this work okay? I'll click on this.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
letting me do anything. I don't know
Hmm.
why.
Interesting.
And
Just
wow.
Well,
the first-
I want to see what I thought was interesting are these last
I
two
just texted it to
paragraphs
your
of the first page
telephone.
anyway.
So you can read it.
You know, rumors, speculation, unverified claims, including social media posts that misrepresent investigative facts, distract from the investigation and lead to misinformation.
They go
I mean,
on.
that's just what distraction. You know, it really is anybody sitting on YouTube discussing this case and speculating and talking about their theory, does it actually in any way distract from the investigation 2 years into it at this point? Like, it's just preventing
The police from
justice for
solving it.
Sebastian because social media is curious about what happened to, you know,
See,
it's just
I think
pointless.
I think if it weren't for social media, we wouldn't be talking about it at all.
It's right. And then they
we
also
live
go
here.
to clear up these 3 points that I'm not sure were ever discussed. Sebastian has never been removed from missing person databases. Has that ever been a rumor that he was removed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
That
a
he was
long time
removed?
ago. A long time ago. Someone misread the National Center.
Oh, okay.
It was not in the proper place or something. I don't
Oh,
remember.
I remember that. It was on social. People, somebody put on like some kind of social media that it was taken down, and it wasn't. But that was a
wouldn't
long
have been
time
one of
ago.
the ones. Yeah, that wouldn't have been one of the ones. If I was going to choose like crazy misinformation, I wouldn't have chosen
And the
that one.
case has never been closed or suspended. I
Well,
don't.
do you guys remember that leaked audio of Chris going crazy on the PI?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know who leaked that, right?
No, I don't.
That was
think
me.
Oh, that was you.
Maybe those are the distractions they were talking about. I remember I was just like, I'm gonna play this, and because I thought I was just like, listen to I said, you know, listen to this anger, this is crazy, you know. And yeah, so I remember I was like, I'm gonna do it. And there were a lot of people that were not happy with me when I did that. I didn't care. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
Well, Kelsey's scolding you.
oh well, it's all right.
She's just shaking her head. Joshua. I think she's kidding.
I thought it was important.
No, I think it is.
It-
It gives you a very good indication of the type of person we're dealing with.
Well, it does, and it with Katie too, because Katie puts on a
Oh,
different face.
I don't think that's the same.
Wasn't
Wait,
she
is that
there?
the same one? Which one?
Yeah, isn't that the one where he's like yelling at the private eye for being on their property?
When they're in the car,
Is
right?
this the one where he's like on? It sounds like he's on the phone, and Katie's.
No,
at
that's the
is
one.
a
That was
different one?
was that the most recent one? No, this was a long time ago, wasn't it, Josh?
Yes, it was. This was the first one, and this was what I thought was so upsetting about it was the disdain that he had for Seth, and when he said
Right.
to Seth that if he opens his mouth again, I'll make sure he never opens it again, or
Yeah,
something.
that one.
Oh, that was
That
a
one.
long
I think
time.
there
Okay.
was, like,
I'm thinking
they're
about
in the
that
car.
last one. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I heard the other one too, which was also very weird.
So that's the
but-
one where he does that line, if he'll never open his mouth again, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I felt that and there were people that argued with me and would still argue with me. I said, that's a threat.
Oh yeah.
You know, even if it's a veiled threat, it's a threat. No, that's not what he meant. That they said that he meant something else. And I said, I'm kind of tired of just like pretending that I didn't hear what I heard and interpret it the way that it was meant to be interpreted. I'm not going to pander to, semantics. I get so tired of that. And I know what I heard. It was a threat. Chris Proudfoot has a long history of threatening people.
Mhm.
And I don't think that he would even deny that either. I had spoken to many people that I never put on, that I had personal conversations with, that he has a history of doing that. So I said, what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with, somebody who has a very, very bad temper.
Oh yeah, outrageous. He
Mhm.
and he speaks it in violence, even when he's describing things that are not
Violent.
necessarily should be. You know, I'm going to slap them with a
Lawsuit.
You know, his language is even violent.
His
It's
description.
it's where his head goes. It's kind of the way
Yeah,
he.
but
he
notice
thinks.
how they had $15,000 to hire a private eye who did nothing for the case, yet not one lawsuit has been filed for defamation because they do not want to sit for discovery. That's why, and everybody would always say, I hope they sue you. I had been threatened to be sued by Dawn and Candace's handlers. I think people were trying to encourage Chris and Katie to sue me as well. And I said, do it. You're fine. I had I had an attorney, a civil attorney who was advising me on the whole thing. And I said, and I showed him both cases, and he said, I would love to get to depose these people.
Yeah.
As and also, yeah, Stacy Wandra threatened. Actually, he actually filed a handwritten.
Was it for you and Justin?
Yeah, but he got everybody's name wrong.
Oh, yes.
I think he was suing Justin and just said, I want to sue Justin. I was like, he doesn't even have a last name on there.
Maybe he's like Madonna.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Prince. I'm going to sue Prince. So, but then it just never, obviously nothing ever came of it, because I remember that guy has way bigger issues coming down the pike than to sue any of us. But anybody that's ever threatened to sue me, never has. And because
It's a great point.
you have to not be telling the truth when you say something. And there is no defense, or there is no you can't sue somebody for telling the truth, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
It's
defamation suits are actually really hard to win. So
they're the hardest to win. But they're the lawyer that I had, a good friend of mine, actually got somebody indicted for murder because the guy sued the police department.
Is that right?
Yeah, he sued the Potsdam Police Department in New York because he was he said that he was illegally detained and searched by the police. So he sued them. The city retained him as the lawyer, sat for a deposition, got him to admit that he was in the spot that he said that he wasn't at. And then they turned that deposition over to the district attorney, and then he was indicted for murder because of it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was
Well,
hilarious.
there's your cautionary tale. Anytime.
That's what I said. I said, like, that would be awesome if they would sue me. I mean, then we could all just sit for a deposition. I go, It'd be a videotape deposition, and but none of them do it. None of them do it because they know that it would not be advantageous of them. It would not behoove them in any way, shape, or form to do it, and they never do, never, and they won't.
Right. I mean, lots of people threaten lawsuits
All the time.
We saw, when Bullhorn Betty was going through her issue with that protective order with the proud feet, Chris ended up taking the stand during that. Most of that never got televised through court TV for whatever reason. They only later put out snippets. He's a wild man on the stand. He's like, I was like, I could not believe
when he had the mullet.
This was mullet days.
We got to see the mullet live and in person.
It made everything even more unhinged, didn't it?
It was a much, they only clipped out a little bit of his testimony. I was sitting there with my eyes wide open. I was like, oh my God, whatever happens in this Sebastian Rogers situation, he's got to be on the stand someday because he has no self-control. He's in that, you're in a courtroom. You think you're going to have a little, but if they could ever, so he's not someone that should ever be advised probably to take.
Oh, absolutely not.
I hope that is the case someday.
Well, shall I, since you're mentioning it?
Oh, so some people may not know what we're talking about here.
I know. It's one of my favorite clips that you guys play.
It's probably the only interesting one we have.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've played
I'm such a self-deprecator. Okay, just real quick. I'll just do it once.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Sorry, I just had to.
I know.
The little wiggle of his mullet when he it's like my favorite part of that.
Yes.
It is so funny.
We got to see him sans beard one time too, and a mullet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when he was getting the watches?
Yeah.
The Tennessee top hat. That's what they call it.
Yeah. He's had some different hairstyles. He's gone through some evolutions over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we've gone because it's always interesting to see how they handle themselves in person, And
he's like a chunky Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, that last case that I was at was very interesting in the way he handled himself. So,
right, Mrs. E was not there for that.
I was not there for that, but you all gave me the play-by-play.
Yeah, it was wow.
Josh,
if you don't, the last time we saw them all in court together, Katie and all of their supporters and family and everybody, they went out of the courtroom first because Bullhorn Betty had an active protective order still. So we couldn't all walk out the door at the same time, right? So we're all upstairs, like on the 3rd or 4th floor, wherever it is. And they're all outside, actually kind of blocking the entrance. So we couldn't leave. I don't think they really understood that part of it, but we were like, well, kind of just waiting for them to go. Right. And something happened down there. And Chris and Katie and Mama Bowersox are all in this like shouting match.
Like pointing,
with each
right?
other and with a YouTuber, Terry Lynn, like getting in her face, pointing, and this huge scene right in front of the courthouse.
Like they couldn't control.
Like just no self. And then the grandmother storms off at some point, and Katie goes walking off in a direction, and we're all watching this. Like, I cannot believe what I'm watching here. And it's like and they know they're right in front of all these sheriff deputies, right at the front door. If they have that little self-control in that moment, what's real life?
Well, you've heard
real life like.
You ever heard somebody go, "I'm not afraid to go back to jail"? Well, that's them. Yeah. They're the definition of "I'm not afraid to go back to jail."
Yeah.
Which is, God bless them. I'm glad they're not afraid. It makes life easier for those of us who don't want to go to jail.
Right.
It was interesting.
It was. There was about a dozen of us just kind of watching, couldn't believe what we were seeing.
We were just looking down and we were like, I can't believe this is happening.
And it's right in front of the security checkpoint where there's like all these sheriff deputies just standing there, and they don't care. They're just like, it's just a normal thing. Well, Auntie, since our theme tonight was red flags, for you at this point, 2 years in, what were the biggest red flags
Well,
for
I
you in
made
this case that we have not talked about so far tonight?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess my biggest one was just CP. He's a red flag. Everything he's done, I mean, everything he says, I just wrote his comments were just all red flags. He will never be found. This case will be studied for years. I mean, just so many comments and phrases that were inappropriate and ill-timed, and just he's just one big red flag.
Yeah, I mean
I mean,
I think that's actually been the case. I think Chris, in a way, is one of the reasons this case has gotten as much interest as it has, because if he had been quiet, this case, a lot of the studying of this has been Chris's statements and interviews.
But I think if I had to pick one thing though, and take him out of it because he had so many, my biggest red flag is their response to him missing, and not coming out to the public and saying, if you've seen our son, this is what he looks like. That, like you had said earlier, describing how to approach him, where he might be. Please help us. Just that anguish, and coming to the media or to the news to be an advocate for your child, and physically going out and searching and going through the neighborhood. When we saw her car fly through the neighborhood within 2 to 3 minutes, circle the school, and come back and report him missing. She didn't go knock door to door. Hey, have you seen Sebastian? He's missing this morning. He was in his bed last night. Please be on the lookout. Could you just come out and help me look? I would be going door to door screaming. Just like Josh said, if it were my kids, I'd be on top of a building with screaming. And we didn't see that. It was very timed. I'm going to run out of the house. I'm going to run around, drive around the neighborhood. I'm going to drive around the school. I'm going to come back. That was all a huge red flag, because it was not the instinct a parent should have when their child is missing.
Well, let's not forget, another red flag is that they searched a landfill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. You think that they do that just for fun?
Mm-mm.
We've talked the landfill
Talk about that a lot.
So I'll just say the possibilities we've considered. That obviously maybe they were looking for Sebastian there. I'm sorry.
Or evidence that was discarded.
Right. Maybe cameras or evidence or something along those lines. What do you think that was about? Do you have a feeling on it, on the landfill search?
I think that they were, I think that obviously they were looking for traces of a crime, and because you have to get a warrant to do that. And, no.
You think they were just being really quick on the draw to go say, hey, if there's evidence it's going to be in that garbage, let's go there first?
No, I think that somebody gave them a tip. I think that somebody had said something. I think they talked to a garbage person or something, and said that they may have felt that there was something off, and because they don't just go, hey, we need to search your landfill. They're not going to want that. They're not going to want to do that without some sort of reason. And to get a judge to sign off on it, you would have to have a reason to do it. And I couldn't imagine them not. I think that they were probably looking, personally, I don't know if they were specifically looking for Sebastian, but I think that they were probably looking for like electronics, maybe trace evidence, and obviously Sebastian himself. But I don't know if that was the whole thought. I think that they were looking for whatever they could find, because obviously something led them to that.
What we talked about this a long time ago, about the landfills kind of backward and forward, and then somebody in our chat one day said, because we talked about, well, it was such a quick search. They were just there. It seemed like a couple of days.
Yeah, it was 2
And
days.
then, yeah, and then someone said, well, and we're like, well, why would you not be more thorough? And someone said, well, maybe they found what they were looking for.
Maybe.
So, well, that's interesting. Maybe they found it, and whatever it is they have, and it's just part of the case they're building. I think that's possible.
They said they found nothing.
That's what they said.
Sure.
That's
But
what
the
they said.
police can lie in an investigation.
They
They
do.
can mislead the public, or
I had a guy on the other day with McDonough. His name's John Lamb, Detective John Lamb.
Yeah.
And he goes, he says it the way he talks is so funny. He says, the police can lie. And then he goes to people, he goes, and we do.
Right. I mean, and that's okay. If they don't, but that would explain why you would, because it was,
who else lies? You know who else lies? Criminals.
The criminals also lie.
Right. So it's kind of an even playing field.
Yeah. People in the chat, of course, are posting some of their red flags also. And the three-way call, Miss Kelsey says, the phone call, not just calling 911.
Yeah.
Of course, is a big one. Wannabe sleuth and something says no urgency. It kind of like Summer Wells waiting 13 days to go speak with the Proud Feet. It was basically a week later before they were doing any media.
Yeah,
here's a good one.
Marlena says, running to creators that don't have Sebastian's best interest at heart, the distractions and chaos as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another good one.
Brenda says a security tech installer doesn't have tech security. Yeah, the whole house situation. You've got her installing security, but they don't have security. They're both Navy trained. They've got these two yippy dogs that in every interview where the dogs are around, they're losing their minds.
Yes.
It's not a wide open house, really. It's the kind of house that's sort of that open floor plan in the middle and things going on. You'd hear it. They're surrounded by these great security cameras all over the neighborhood. It's just, when you take all that in, it's just almost impossible to imagine.
In the totality of everything. Because I'm just being reminded of stuff, looking at the chat, and it was like, how do you not call Seth yourself?
Right. Yeah.
Like you have so much disdain for Seth that, because Seth would have probably been the first one I called.
Of course.
Have you seen Sebastian? I haven't seen him.
Yeah. Did he say anything to you about going to a friend or,
have you heard from him at all?
Right.
It's just like
Total common sense would tell you that would be the first one of either the police or Seth would be the first person you call.
And I know Seth was at work, but to not even call. There was a case, the case of Dylan Redwine.
Yeah.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but the dad who ultimately was convicted of murdering the son 9 years after him going missing. 9 years it took. And everybody was like, when's this guy going to get arrested? He's obviously guilty, but nobody knew the evidence he had. He went to the marshals, he said, and reported his son missing. But he didn't go to the sheriff's department and report him missing. And you're just going, well, why would you go to the marshals and instead of the sheriffs? And he was just like, well, I don't know. it just didn't really cross my mind. So like, what? Okay. Well, what does that mean? And then he waited, like, I don't know, a very long time. How the sheriff actually got notified was finally he decided to call the mother and say, have you heard from Dylan? And then she goes, what? He goes, I haven't heard from him. And she goes, he's with you. He's like, well, I haven't seen him. She hangs up and calls the sheriff. He goes, did you call the sheriff? No, I went to the marshal. Like, wow.
Right.
It's unfathomable.
And when things like that happen, the people that kind of defend it, when you point it out, it's like they do this thing where it's like, well, you just don't know what you do in those situations. People are different, and I actually just don't believe people are all that different. Not
yeah, they're kind of the thing is the playbook, right? There's no playbook. You go, well, there kind of is actually. Like you should plead for your child. You should search for your child, and you should do everything that you can to try to find the answers. That's the playbook. Everything in between that is, whatever, but there are staples that should be done.
Yeah. And
are done by most parents that have an interest of their child coming home. I just, no, I don't see it.
We were, one of the other times we were at the courthouse, we saw a local news reporter, Caitlin Quisenberry, ask Chris and Katie to do an interview with her. And she's not a gotcha news investigative reporter or anything. She's just a news person. And they turned her down on the spot, just said, no, we're not interested.
Yeah, of course.
We were there for that. I forgot.
Yeah, we were standing like 30 feet away when they're just saying, no, we'll talk to you, but we're not doing it.
I think that when your child goes missing, that it's regardless of whether you want to or not, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to. I think it's your job the rest of your life. That is your mission.
That statement right there.
Rosebud.
What are you going to do if it goes south? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Who says that? Who says that?
Somebody who wants to know what the reaction is going to be, or don't be mad.
that was one of my big red flags when we did the first one was don't be mad. And I said it sounds like a child saying to their parent, Mom, Dad, don't be mad, but like they've done something wrong. And that was just my gut instinct when I heard that statement. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Good evening, Jules. It's nice to see you. She says, evening, Ease and Josh, thinking of you all.
Good to see you, Jules. Thank you very much.
And
for that.
Lisa, you're going to be mad, but we have not watched her interview yet.
We haven't watched it yet.
She found a shirt. That's another, the one that our most recent red flag that we were kind of talked about was about how do you know what he was wearing when he went missing?
Oh, yes. The 3 shirts.
Well, just the fact that wouldn't he have been in pajamas?
I'm sure you know what we're getting at. The 3 possible black shirts that he was wearing.
Yeah. There seemed to have been some confusion.
Well, it's obviously there's the problem of how do you know it's one of those shirts and you don't know which one it is? And how did you know he was wearing that when he left the house? If you didn't see him leave the house? How do you know he wasn't wearing pajamas or something else? How do we have a description of his clothing at all? So that's.
And I believe they mentioned he did wear pajamas, like lounge pants and t-shirts. And so how did they not know what he had on? Were his pajamas on the bed, on the floor? I mean, we didn't really get any of that detail.
Well,
Kelly says the thud.
The thud that was added later after several interviews.
Yeah. And I'll just tell you how the thud lands for me. The thud for me was kind of getting ahead of the story. Should Sebastian be found? That's what I think that the thud story was.
Well, you would think that if there's a thud and you have a child that has I believe he had a head issue, right? There's a
chromosomal deletion.
Yeah, and he hits his head wrong. It could be detrimental. So, I have a son who has epilepsy, and every thud used to scare me to death. So I constantly would bust in his room, and 99% of the time it was nothing. But there was a couple times where he had fallen onto the floor having a seizure and had a thud. So I would think that if you had any sort of I don't know, urgency or fear of that, you would get up and you would check on your kid. But she says that he answered her, or I think there were two different things.
Two different.
Knock it
she's
off
like,
in there, that kind of thing.
I don't care what you're doing in there. Just go to bed. I think that was kind of that was one of her responses that she said.
And then
Seth
one time
is-
she's asked him if he fell out of bed.
Seth is here. He's saying it's called hydrocephalus.
Well, I'm glad you could pronounce it.
It's probably wrong, but that's what it looks
No,
like.
it's hydrocephalus. That's correct?
Hydrocephalus. Well, we're
And
in a situation.
also they were very scared to go in his room, but there was no doorknob, from what I understand.
Right.
You could peek through the hole then, I guess, right?
Yeah, of course you could.
I guess. But we're in a similar situation with our son with his surgery. Anytime we hear him drop his cane or anything,
That's scary.
we're up and, hey, buddy, you okay? And,
My son, is sometimes I would just text him. He'd be in his room or something, and I would text him, and I would wait for the the three little dots to show up. I'm like, okay, he's okay or whatever. But anytime there was any sort of ruckus,
And
I would check.
the thing about adding it later and it not being in the original versions of the story is that if you imagine that you're her and you're innocent, this is the last time you have heard your child's voice. In the first 3 versions or so you've told, you leave out the last time you've talked to your son that you ever oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the time at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. when we did talk. I mean, that would be the most important moment of the night, really. It'd be the last time you talk to your son. And you don't know that somebody wasn't in his room fighting him, an abductor, because you supposedly have no idea what happened to him. Was he being subdued in some way? That's what you would wonder if you were innocent. But there's no curiosity with them.
No.
They've already got it figured out. He walked out the door without his shoes. We just don't know why.
Everything leads to my suspicion that they know a hell of a lot more than what they've said. I don't know what that is. I don't know what happened to Sebastian. Right. I don't know who's guilty of what, but I find it very difficult. I find it hard to believe that nobody knows anything. And I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. And I don't think that most people do.
And I mean, there's things that we know that, like, you were misled. We know there are things they've lied about, and if it's not our fault, they lied, and that they lost credibility with all of us. So if you've lied about these certain things, then certainly you're lying about other things, and something that's so important.
Like you have between 3 and 5 CPS cases that had happened, and then belt whippings and whatever. And then a child goes missing, and you think that there should be no suspicion on you whatsoever. You think that you're above reproach.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
It's just not how it works.
No.
We haven't seen the interview, but 5D3K says, in Katie's last interview, she said she won't stop searching until her last breath, implying almost like he wouldn't be found. And I think Deception Detective did a video about that with the Ramseys.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's the O.J. Simpson thing where he says, "I'll never stop looking for the killer" or whatever, and that implies that you'll never catch them because
And he wanted to move out of L.A. because he just in case he ran into the killer. It was like, okay,
right,
all right, Jude.
Yeah. But I agree with that.
I watched the deposition. I watched, when he was sued, when he was civilly sued and lost, and I watched his entire deposition when it was like, I don't know, it was like 10 hours, but, and I came away feeling he was even more guilty than even just the trial evidence, because oh my God, they already had like the stuff at trial and his interviews, and then they were asking him like one of the big things was, the glove that he tried on.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know.
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah, well, he had severe arthritis, and he took medicine for it. 6 months before the trial started, him and his trial lawyer said that he should stop taking his medicine so his hands would swell up and make it seem like it wouldn't fit. And
my gosh.
now it didn't fit great, but I mean, it kind of fit, but his
Well
hands
enough.
were swollen because he stopped taking his arthritis medicine.
Yeah.
It's just like
Wow.
stuff like that. And you're just going, oh my God, dude, you're sick. You're diabolical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And all the phone calls from his wife to the police, and she's like, he's going to kill me. And all this. I mean, it was just, and then she just so happens to end up dead. Okay. Right.
Man, people are doing some great red flags in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
right
trying to
now.
highlight some of them.
I forget about a lot of these, but here's one of the you put up earlier.
that's a huge one.
Which one?
Was them leaving
The RV. The RV.
getting in the RV and leaving town within a month, less than a month of him disappearing.
2 weeks, wasn't it?
Well, and the
there's
fact that
no world I would leave this house if my child had been gone for a month.
Well, the fact
No
that they
way.
allowed Chris to leave and be gone for 17 hours almost immediately after he went missing.
Well, didn't she stop an interview too?
She
Say that
stopped.
again?
Say that again.
When she was being questioned by the police. Chris put a stop to her interview.
Oh, I
That's-
didn't know
yeah,
that.
that's the.
I
You mean
forgot
early
about
on?
that. I forgot
Early
about
on stopped it. Or do you mean?
I don't know how early it was, but
Oh, I
they
know
quit
what you're
talking to
talking
the
about.
police.
I
Yeah.
remember this. Yes. That was
Yeah.
it wasn't early on.
It was early
Yep.
on,
It
or
was not.
it was
No, it was later.
Mhm.
not? Okay.
And I asked Chris about that, and he said, once again, he goes, "It's not how you're saying it is." Okay, whatever.
Well, then how is it?
I don't know. I don't know what he said. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how he said it was, but when I asked him about it, and I specifically asked him about it, and first of all, he wanted to know how I knew about it, and I said, "Well, whatever. Just it doesn't matter."
Yeah.
I said, "Did you put a stop to the interview that was going on?" And he says, "It's not how you're portraying it." And I said, "Okay, well then, how am I portraying it?" And he goes, "We already had a lawyer." And I go, "No, you had a different lawyer for something else."
Right.
That's because he tried to make it seem like they had a lawyer because we already had the Betty situation.
right.
He said, that's not what I'm talking about. And he goes, "But we already did have a lawyer." And I said, "Whatever." He just so
Right.
I asked him about it. I asked him, I mean, just flat out.
Okay.
And
I didn't realize you communicated with him like that.
yeah, we communicate. Yeah, because he always wanted to know what I knew. He
Right.
was always like pissy at me about stuff because, and there are things that even on here I won't say that I had heard about and had talked to people about.
Sure.
That I had communicated with him that I was asked not to say. Nothing that would solve the case or anything, but just personal things.
Yeah.
And so he knew that I knew certain things, and that people would come to me with information. So I would ask him about it, and he'd go, "Well, how do you know about that?" And I said, "Well, what does that matter?"
Yeah.
And the case of even with his daughter in in Arizona, he was accused of hitting her.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and he goes, "Well, how did you hear about that?" And I said, "What does it matter? Is it true or not?" And then he would just say, "It was always it's not how you say it is." And I said, "I didn't say it was anyway. You you're saying that it's not that way, but there was something there. And every time I asked him something, he never would flat out just deny it. And then he would ask if I was going to say anything about it. Sometimes he was, no, I'm not going to say anything about it because, it's really not my place. And then sometimes I'd say, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to or not.
Well,
and he didn't even thank me sometimes for not saying something. Because at the time when I asked about the interview being shut down,
I
asked him about it, and he said, are you going to say anything about it? And I said, no, I'm not because I don't really know much about it. And then he says, I appreciate that. That's what he said. And I said, okay, well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And maybe I was putting the kids to bed, guys, but I missed Bliss. Did you guys see this?
Oh, I did not see that. I'm sorry.
I did not see it. No.
Bliss Blessings, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. She says, Josh, did you and Chris have any luck reaching out to all the ex-wives about coming on your show? Just curious, because that would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, we had contact with I think it was 3 of them. And one of them was his Nina.
Yeah.
But the other 2 really they want nothing to do with it, unfortunately. And I understand why. They're terrified of him.
Sure.
Terrified. So
I get it.
It was not something that I ever followed up with or put. I just told him I understood. We talked to him about it, but I think that Nina said that she was willing to talk more about it, but I didn't really want to drag her through it anymore. I mean, she had said plenty, and people were very mean to her about it as well.
And that's crazy, because she might be the most believable person in all of it.
She's a wonderful person. She's a very nice person.
I'm so thankful she got away from him.
I mean,
without not ending up something much worse happening to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they have any direct knowledge of what happened, in Sebastian's case. It would just be more of, well, what was Chris like? And I felt like we kind of already knew what he was like. I think we know what he's like,
Yeah.
So
I think you'll find some CPS reports that'll tell you what he was like.
I think you would find some CPS reports, and I would think that you maybe find a couple hospital reports too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
man, all of these red flags in the chat are just unbelievable. Being married 5 times is a red flag. Driving around, clicking on the wrong one. Driving around looking for Sebastian with the windows up,
and driving by someone who's walking on the street.
Yeah.
And not rolling your window down saying, hey.
Yeah. That's what I said with my main one, was just it was too timed and sequential. It just didn't seem like she was truly looking.
Well, being married 5 times isn't really that big of a red flag if you're King Henry VIII.
Okay.
And he's like my age.
But
I mean,
he's like 40. Well, he's like a couple years older than me.
I will say King Henry's we just saw. I just took the kids to that musical.
6, you did.
6, yeah.
Was he married 6 times?
He was married 6 times. The last one was the only one that outlived him. So
Unreal.
The rest of them were either beheaded or one was annulled and one was divorced.
So when you were gone, I was actually asking Auntie what the biggest red flag for her was. She was basically saying Chris was the red flag for her. Josh kind of went in with the landfill search was a big one, because I told you a lot of what was going on. What about you? Do you have one that sticks out that we haven't talked about?
I think the first red flag that we personally had is the one that got me. That's when I started on a whole other path.
Where they did.
Well, Josh may not know what it is.
So we reached out we had mutual friends and we reached out to offer help and support because, we've been living most of our married life with, we have a child with autism. And so we kind of understand how they think, and we've lost him for a short period of time, a couple times.
Mhm.
And we offered to help. And long story short, the friend told us that they were at the house that day. And I said, well, I know the child's name. I don't know the parent's name, but we have been praying for them. And the friend told us a few key details about the shoes. It's before it was out in the news.
Yeah.
And told us that the scent ended at the end of the driveway.
Yeah.
With the dog that Sebastian sent. There were other scents around, but it was Sebastian's.
Didn't go any further than the driveway.
And she said, their names are Chris and Katie, but they don't want their last name out there. And when that statement happened, it was like a gut punch for me because I felt like that. Why
would you care?
We lost Middle Lee for like 3 minutes at Disney World, and everybody in that park knew it.
Yeah.
I was screaming at the top of my lungs in
Got swept away in the
Frontierland.
crowd,
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, I couldn't find my son in a Gap one time when he was like, I don't know, 2 or 3. It was only like a couple minutes, but it was a nightmare. I was screaming.
Terrifying.
He was under one of the racks. He was just like he went and hid under one of the racks. And dude, next time I won't need to find you because I'm just gonna leave if you ever do that again. He goes, "Oh, don't do that." And I go, get in the car. I was so mad.
it was one of those things where we had I thought he had his hand, he thought I had his hand, and
That's exactly what I
kept going.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
I was but then he hid. That was the problem.
Oh,
I
he
said-
was hiding on purpose.
Actually,
Yeah, he pissed me off. I was
Yeah.
so mad at him.
I was so proud of him because
That's why I told him I wasn't going to look for him next time.
I always trained the kids, especially with Disney World. I said, if you ever get separated from us, you go to someone with a name tag and you tell them. And that's what he did. And so that's why we were able to find him. Of course, I was like screaming next to the turkey leg stand in Frontierland. But
How old was he?
he was probably what?
3,
4?
4.
3 or 4, yeah.
It's scary.
It's terrifying.
And it wasn't even probably a minute and a half. It just
Well,
felt like forever.
It felt like it was an eternity, but
Yeah.
these are also good.
Man, these are good.
Hey, Froggy.
And this is one of this kind of stuff we don't really talk about. But the fact that Chris won't let anyone talk to Katie without him there is a big red flag for me.
Or the fact that Seth has not spoken to her since this happened alone.
Right. Because the control there is off the charts. And if your mom, you're pushing stepdad to the side saying, look, we're going to find my baby. This is my show.
This was a bad one too, Kelly.
CP saying if he told people the truth about Sebastian, they would stop looking for him.
Yes.
Yeah. And
that again, back to the victim shaming.
And that's kind of a threat too.
Such
that's
a
kind
weird
of a threat.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, YouTube. Hi, YouTuber. Oh, Seth's got one for us.
I'm
Let's
sure
see.
Seth's got a list.
Oh, yeah.
Hiring SF was a red flag.
Yeah, Seth said earlier he thought that they hired SF as a fixer.
Yeah, I think he's more of a he was sort of a diverter,
Well,
let's
not
hey,
seeing,
he did his job.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not-
it is.
although
not
people-
seeing anybody on camera too. Yeah.
Oh my!
I agree, Lisa. I had that on my list as well.
I still hammer at that guy to this day. I can't stand him. Him and I went at it on X during was it what was that? He was like a 7-month-old baby. God, I can't even remember his name.
Oh, the Emmanuel Haro thing.
Emmanuel Haro, yeah. When he reported that Emmanuel had been found,
Man, that was really bad.
and then I was like, I I just went
Yeah.
after him on Twitter. He got so pissed off at me. But
Well, I mean,
anytime, any chance I get to give a dig in at that guy, what kind of an asshole says a 7-month-old was found, and then he's like, well, my source was wrong, and like you're a private investigator, you lose all credibility in my book. You know, and to this day the boy still hasn't been found.
I know.
Good job, SF. Good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So
CP
stupid.
saying Sebastian walked out that front door and went poof. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that one either.
Yeah, proof.
And then later said that you can't acknowledge that the camera across the street would catch anybody coming in the door because of the way the lighting is.
Mhm.
So there's the
Got it all
contradiction
figured
there,
out.
you know. So he walked out the door and yet he's not caught on camera, which Chris says would be impossible. So there's, you know,
Also, the black cat getting caught on camera in the neighborhood, and not Sebastian. And we drove out there. We took Aunt E out there, and we started pointing out all the cameras because
yeah.
I think, what would you say, 98% of the houses
Yeah. I
have
mean,
cameras or ring doorbells.
Mm-hmm.
it is one thing. When we drove out there the first time, it changed our whole perspective of everything because you realize there's no way that he
That's a gut
left
punch
that neighborhood
to go there.
without being caught on cameras. And there's no sidewalks. He didn't go walking down Long Hollow Pike. It's way too busy a road.
Right.
He would have been seen by someone.
It did not happen that way.
Yeah.
It
Right.
just did.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But you know, I think Josh is going to be doing a live.
Josh has a live, and we've already worn him out.
What are you doing? Do you have a plan for your live tonight, Josh?
No, we just kind of wrap up I know that there was a little bit of a development, but not a lot in the Nancy Guthrie case. I've been fascinated by that one because
Oh, me too.
I've I take care of my grandmother, and so it sort of hits home a little bit. It's another unfathomable case. Normally I wouldn't cover it, but for some reason I just can't wrap my head around it. And so I just kind of just give commentary, watch some of the coverage, and so that's really about it.
Oh, I've loved your conversations on it that you've been doing, and it's been great. And I'm with
insightful.
you. It's mystifying because nothing fits. There's not really a theory that 100% fits the situation to me.
Yeah, no, it's just weird.
I can't wrap my head around what happened to her. There's just too
I've
many.
stared at that house. I've stared at that house long enough to come up with a few theories, but I mean, like you said, nothing quite makes sense. Nothing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
No.
Yes, I just don't. I don't know what's going to happen there, but yeah. So if you're doing that in a while, of course, everybody hang out and go. Are you doing that on the lab, not Lab After Dark?
Yeah, I'll be doing it on the lab. Yeah.
So you'll be on the lab tonight, and so we'll, of course, if somebody wouldn't mind to put his link, of course, in the chat again.
Do you know what
that'd be
time you're
great.
going live, Josh? So we can promote.
Marlena just put it up.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I'm scheduled yet, but it will be up there here shortly.
You're thinking somewhere in the next hour or so.
Yeah, it'll be around 9 my time, which is like hour and 20 minutes.
Great.
You'll be asleep.
And
Sorry.
NorCal so gal has another red flag, 1 or 2 or 5 red flags. Okay, maybe, but look at the long list. It just goes on and on. Friggin' crazy. Come on.
Yeah.
And then prayer hands for Sebastian. So
And
thank you for the super chat. We got to meet NorCal so gal.
She just told you today it's Southern Gal.
Southern gal. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
You forgot already.
I'm just going to go NorCal and then not mess up the name. Seth says, does anyone know if any of the prophets or Bowerstocks were in the area when she disappeared? Just saying she kind of went poof.
True. True.
That is true.
Poof.
Poof.
That is true.
Oh, man.
Lisa says Josh destroys my sleep.
I have to catch you on the replay. So I'm part of the replay
There's been
crew.
a couple times and I've been able to be up late enough.
And Mrs. E will stay up late
Yeah.
later than I do.
I'm West Coaster, so
Yeah.
People go, oh my God, you're going on so late. I go, it's really not that late for me.
No.
The West Coast has to get their true crime too. You know, you
Hey,
guys,
why not, right?
somebody's got to do it over there.
I
One
get a
time we
lot
did-
of I get a lot of West Coast people. I get a lot of Australians and New Zealanders. Too.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah, a lot of Australian people.
Our mom said, "Why is he on so late?" And I said, "Mommy's." She always says, she said, "I want to watch him, but he's on so late." And I'm
True.
like, "Well, just have to watch it on the replay."
It's true.
We were up in the middle of the night one time. I remember I caught it because we were up for a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. That was some crazy weather you guys had then.
But I appreciate you coming and doing this with us, Josh.
Yes.
We've been wanting to hang out, meet you, and talk to you, and it's been a
We'll do it
blast.
again. Yeah, we'll
Anytime you
do
want to do it, you're welcome to. Someday we need to go through the Summer Wells case. Is what I'd love to do with you.
no question. Absolutely.
Oh yes,
and really maybe just dig in on that, and because we just don't understand. I mean, tonight I learned a lot about it. I didn't quite understand. I know it's a complicated case, kind of like the Sebastian one. So maybe
Yeah.
we could do that next time if you're up for
Oh,
it.
whoops.
It is.
I
but-
don't know. Mom, real quick, Mama's World said CP, knowing the directions if someone picked up Sebastian with non-working LP, license plate readers.
Yeah, he claims that one of the license plate readers wasn't working coming out of the neighborhood, but how would he know?
That's
that.
convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah,
disabled.
no,
or-
exactly.
Marlena said, "Wait."
Wait for what?
I don't know. She just put like a whole bunch of red flags. Oh, here it is. Josh, will you be covering Larry's trial starts March?
I'll probably do some coverage of it, but yeah, Larry Miliete,
Oh, I don't know if I know that case.
don't know
What
that
case is
case.
that?
Maya Miliete. She was went missing. He's another one that he's been charged with murdering his wife, but they're still looking for her out in the desert down in Southern California. By the way, Cold Case Foundation worked on that case as well.
Okay.
And yeah, it's he's a real sick one, I'll tell you that. He would actually he was trying to pay spellbinders to cripple his wife so she wouldn't leave him. They came out and the evidence. He was that crazy.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. He was
Wow.
paying him in Bitcoin.
Oh wow.
Okay.
It's
So
a-
and that
That's-
trial
that-
starts in March or May.
Yep.
Pretty
Yep.
soon.
Marlena sent y'all a Google Doc on the case. I can resend it.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, will you resend it? Yes, please. Yes, she asked us to cover it. I forgot all about it.
We'll dig into it.
I think it was around the time when we were starting all the medical stuff, and I just blanked
Kinda
on it.
forgot.
But I'm sorry, but yes, she always tries to send good stuff.
Well, anyway, I just want to thank you again for coming here.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
I always
I
love your
appre-
perspective and hearing your thoughts on these.
Well, thank you guys, and we'll catch you on the next time. We'll do it again.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
anytime it'd be great. Love having you here.
And as I said, you can have him if you want. You don't have to have the Bopsy twins down here if you ever want him on your show.
I would love that.
Mrs.
You guys are a cohesive unit. You know.
No, we talk over each other.
Well,
We
yeah.
just basically, that's
We're
what I said last
family.
night. This is how we are in real life. And that's part of what's funny is this whole collaboration started with us talking on the phone every day about Sebastian.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd be on for hours. talking
Hours.
on
Or
speaker.
we spent a whole vacation
Yeah.
Mhm.
coming up with exactly play by
at
play.
the beach. At the beach. Every
We did.
night we were like
Kids to
laying
bed.
down.
Trying to figure this thing out,
Yeah, well, it's a baffling case, and hopefully there's some answers in these cases soon. So, it's hard to it's hard to hang in there, but you have to. It's part of covering cases. I mean, this is what happens sometimes. It unfortunately keeps going. Are you following a case out of Reading? I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but no, I haven't been following that. Mm-mm.
I haven't heard of that one.
I don't know that one either.
No, I haven't been following that one, but I just started getting a little interested in that, the one where the wife, she poisoned her husband and then wrote a children's book to comfort her kids about it.
I saw that.
We
That.
talked
That was
about
a
that
weird.
briefly.
It's a
That-
weird one.
That one's wild.
That is weird.
That is wild.
Yeah, I watched part of that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank
We'll
you
catch
so
Josh.
much, Josh. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. All right.
Well,
And
awesome.
I'm
So-
exhausted too because we have been running all day long. So I
And
think we should
Marlena
probably
says,
wrap.
she said, I dropped the link in case recommendations in Discord. Thank you.
love.
Thank you,
You are the
Marlena.
best. Thank you
And-
so much to all of our wonderful moderators as well for doing such a great job tonight.
And we
You
had
guys
so
are the
many
best.
compliments. We had a lot of compliments too. Y'all are great together. That's why I love watching your show.
Aw.
Thank you, Cheryl. And we,
You're so sweet.
I love having Josh on. It was fun to.
Oh
talk to
yeah, I
him
felt
and
like
talk
I
to
was
the case.
so quiet because I felt like I was watching his show.
Like
I'm
you
not
just watched
joking.
it.
I'm not even kidding.
Because
Yeah,
you've
I
been
just
watching
wanted to
a
hear him talk. I mean, I love his voice.
He's
So I
got
just wanted
such
to
a great
listen to what
voice.
he had to say, you know.
It's so better. It's so much better than all of ours.
I know.
You know,
We should improve our voices.
we've got to improve our voices and
But it
talk
was-
with more direction.
But it was great to have him on. He didn't have to do that at all, but it was just it's great. So we appreciate him doing that. Appreciate you all hanging with us tonight, and all the folks that are here tonight that we met this week. It was great meeting all of you. I'm a little hesitant to say who we met and who we haven't because I don't know how in the bushes
Sure.
you want to be or not. But
Yeah, that's
so
okay.
that it was great getting to talk to everybody and meet everyone, and
Mhm.
appreciate the support for Seth and everybody that came out and did that with Bullhorn Betty's event.
Yeah, I thought it
Um,
was very successful.
Yeah, a lot of people came. People were coming and going all week. So,
And I have just a little tiny prayer request.
oh,
Oh.
My son is going through, his dog is dying tonight. And
oh no,
he is a Beverly, not Blitz. And he called during the show crying. So just be
Oh,
thinking
no.
about him. Say a little prayer. She's has cancer, and they were going to the oncologist tomorrow, but we're not sure she'll make it through the night. She
Oh,
can't get
wow.
up, and yeah, but we've known she was not well for
Yeah.
a while. But she's an older dog. But to just give him a little prayer. My son would really, I'm sure,
Yeah, I
feel
know.
him right now.
No, that's breaking his heart. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they love their dogs just like
they do.
just like we do, and but just if you could throw them a little prayer just to help her pass peacefully and them to be able to handle it. So it's actually their first married dog loss. They've
Yeah.
been married for a few years, but it's their first puppy that they'll be losing. So
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I am too. I am very sorry. And if you all want a name for him, he would be the original E.
yes, he is the one we call E. He's the original E.
Yep.
Yes,
Uh,
and his
Right.
dog is Beverly.
Yeah, Beverly.
so we may not be back on here for a little while. I think Mrs. E would like a
I'm
break
tired.
from all the live streaming, so maybe a few days or so. But thank you to everybody for being here, and we appreciate it. Anything else before we go, Mrs. E?
No, I don't think so. Sorry, I'm hitting
And-
that wall. That wall
Yeah,
we all
I
know.
know, and
And
I
you
know
know,
we-
in March I'll be gone about almost 3 weeks, so I will not.
No, you can stream from there. It's fine.
I don't even begin to know how to do that. I'm
One
not
of these Luthen says OGE. That's great.
the OGE,
OGE.
there you go.
the
that works.
original E. Yeah, OGE.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I'm not taking my computer, so I won't.
Yes, you are.
No, can't do it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
good.
really
You'll be
too.
there. We'll fire up a live, and you'll find a way.
I
Real Me
have my
Too.
phone up, not even know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'll come back and my phone bill will be like $7,000.
right. I know, right?
You guys are wondering she's going to Europe, so and
Yeah.
that's why I'm teasing her because I know she won't do it.
No.
There's no reason to take your computer. I don't want it to get stolen.
Yeah, that's what I was worried
Right.
about.
And look at Real Me
Cheryl
Too.
said she her son lost his dog a few weeks ago, and Beverly was a rescue as well. We don't know what she is. We always called her part raccoon because she was found out in the woods near a lake, and a friend of ours found her, and she did not act like a dog when they first found her, but she's a sweet thing. They did one of those DNA profiles on her, and she is like the definition of a mutt. There was like 20 different breeds of
Oh,
dog
wow.
in her DNA, and
I didn't
one of
realize
them was like this teeny tiny. I don't know if it was Maltese, but it was something, or Chihuahua. I mean, she's a pretty big dog, but I mean, the mix was hilarious. We were like, oh my gosh.
I didn't remember you guys doing that.
Oh, we did it on all their dogs just to see what they were, because they were rescues.
Thank you, Deanna, you sweetheart. But yes, he is having his next MRI on March 4th, and I would really appreciate prayers for that. We want him to have excellent results. No tumor growth, that kind of stuff. No new tumors, anything like that. So that would be amazing if you guys wouldn't
Is
mind to
he
pray
feeling
for
better
him.
from yesterday?
He feels fine today.
Okay.
It's
You know me, I first thing I did was analyze the blood work, and it showed up, everything lent itself to viral. So
Okay.
That's what we're going with.
What's funny,
I'm
guys,
going with that.
is that this is how close we are as a family. Is Aunt E has access, and she gets his as soon as he
His
gets his
medical
test, any kind of medical thing, she'll call me and say, you need to return this message to the nurse. You did that today.
yeah, I did. Well, I just want to make sure but I'll go through and I'll put all of his blood work in either Chat GPT or whatever, and it is awesome. If you've ever done that, when you get blood work back, it will tell you what it leans to, what it could be the cause. But if certain numbers are off, not in the green, that are in those outlier areas, you can put that in there. It'll give you like different things, and it kind of gives you an idea of what it is. And I'll know and say, hey, it's this. And she'll go, oh yeah, I know, that's what they just told me. But it's a really easy way to check blood work against something else. And yeah, I do that. I gotta know he's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention here Scranton Strangler, who we met today. Y'all brought me to Tennessee and took me back home to Texas. So I'm glad you made it back home safe.
And I'm sure you love her name.
Yes, the Scranton Strangler.
No, I was talking to Aunt.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm a big Office fan. And Texas Plain Jane says I need to get one of those Ryoko internet devices that can be taken anywhere. It's about the size of a cell phone, and they have different plans you can get. Ooh, I might.
Could you not take a Starlink with you, like one of the RV ones?
I don't know. I don't want to carry. With my mobility issues, I don't want to deal with too much. I'm already having my friends pack a wheelchair, so when I can't walk, they can push me, so that I've got dual mobility, so I can walk some and then ride some until I have surgery.
Yeah. And Real Me Too said, keep praying for Middle E. He looks so good tonight. Yes. Everyone that was eating dinner with us got to meet the kids tonight. We took all the kids to dinner with us, and Middle E went as well. So, and that was mostly a treat for Real Me Too, because she loves him so much. So,
and Real Me Too is letting me know he looked really good tonight. I've been worried about him, and so has Granny. So we are glad to hear that, because sometimes it's hard to get in touch with Mrs. E to find out how things are going, because they're always busy.
Oh, there's another dig about my communication skills.
No, you all are always busy, and I don't like to bug you all the time, but I would stay on FaceTime all day long if I could.
Oh, I know.
I know you can.
Well, you probably saw us on the stream today, so you were keeping.
I did. I watched you the whole time on the stream. We were at Culver's parking lot having a snack. Granny,
did you see him waving? He was on the corner waving at people. We were making fun of him.
They were making fun of me because cars would drive by and they honk,
and they wave,
and the people are like honk, honk, and so I just kind of thanks for the honk or whatever. And I was sitting. It just feels like when people are honking, you just acknowledge that. Thanks for the support for Sebastian. But they were all kind of like in the corner laughing at me, like, look at him. He thinks it's all about him.
He thinks he's famous.
Like he's the
Grand
Marshal at the parade or something. I was, hey.
It was funny. We were having fun.
Yeah.
Yes, little E does look like her mama. She does. That's exactly what she looked like at that age.
I don't think she looks like me at all.
Actually, she's prettier than Mrs. E was at that age. Her hair, I mean, she just looks amazing right now.
Okay, so
I think she's just growing into her own. She looks great.
Roll Me Too had a good laugh at me also. Had
Oh,
suspense there.
we were giggling
Everybody
pretty
was, right?
hard. Yeah, we were giggling pretty hard.
Yep, that's exactly right, Brenda. The parade wave.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what he was doing. It was very cute. No, we had to have a little levity. It's a heavy day.
Yeah, we saw you bringing in the cooler. I watched you bring in the cooler and fill it up.
I thought it was smart to bring the little wagon to put the cooler in.
Yes, that is smart. Good grief,
Yeah.
those things are way a ton. The only time we get ours out is when it's hurricane season and we need to have it cold in case we lose a loose power and have to put food in it.
See, I don't think she looks like me. I do think she's prettier. Like Aunt E said, I was pretty gawky looking at that age. So.
You were really, really skinny, and it
She's
made you
pretty
look.
skinny.
She is, but she's beautiful. Like her skin and her hair, she's
Mhm.
just beautiful.
I think so.
Oh,
Oh,
Quilting is asking who live streamed. Bullhorn Betty streamed today.
yeah.
The
Like
gathering, it was called Gathering of Voices, just to support Sebastian.
A few other people came and went streaming also, but Bullhorn Betty had it set up the whole time.
So Rosebud's asking who was the tall guy speaking on the mic today? Mr. E. I don't think
didn't
we
talk
ever
to
caught
him.
his name. He and another lady brought their own speaker, and
Okay.
that they were doing the speaking.
Were those the one that I was was like concerned about? They weren't with your group.
No, they were.
I just
there.
never
They were
talked.
just, speaking their own thoughts, and but they had brought their own speaker.
I just never met them.
Real
I
Me
didn't
Too
talk to
might
them.
know, actually.
DJ, we will say a prayer. Her sister has stage 3 cancer and started chemo this week and would like some prayers for her sister.
I think it's a male, but yes.
Oh, DJ. Okay.
Oh,
Was it-
Nico. Okay, Nico.
And people probably may not realize we saw Silver on the scene tonight.
Oh yes, we saw Silver at dinner.
He couldn't come to the gathering, but he came over to dinner. He had work and different things going on, I think. But it was always good to see him. He asked about you, of course, Auntie.
Oh, good. He's one of my favorites. I love it. I love what he does. He does a really good job.
Yeah.
And Scranton Strangler said, "Oh, I'm sorry." She said it was a local who has been following the case.
I see.
Okay.
His name
I
is-
didn't get a chance to talk to you. Honestly, I was mostly, I was very busy making fun of Mr. E waving at people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I got to meet Lady Freedom. I hadn't talked to her
Oh,
before, and she was great.
She's lovely. She's lovely. She's just as lovely in person as she is on her show.
Yeah.
I heard about that information there. I didn't think that was very nice. Something he needs to be turned in for making those remarks.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Somebody mentioned it earlier.
Oh, I did not see that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, Sassy was there.
It was good to see you,
Oh,
Sassy.
I like her glasses. Those are great glasses.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful
Got to talk to Sassy a little bit.
and stylish.
I mean, it is kind of like, it's nice to kind of meet everybody and the people we've met before, kind of catch up and all that too. But hopefully next time we catch up, it's going to be like a celebration or a trial or something like that, and not this again. That would be the best.
Yeah. Auntie did not care for the words, and Real Me Too did ask.
Well, is she talking about the flipping off, or is she talking about?
Oh,
that
well,
was both. That was unprofessional and disappointing. Yes, that the police. would do
oh,
that.
I did. Oh, I think she's talking about the police officer.
I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah. I didn't. We must not have been there for that. We were.
It could have been after we left.
Yeah, because we left. We had to get lunch.
I think somebody would have told us about that if that had happened
Mhm.
before. That's crazy.
Well, Real Me Too mentioned it earlier that it happened, so she could probably tell you if it was after you guys left
Yeah.
or not.
You might kind of get a little more detail on that, because that's really
I just don't. That's surprising because I mean, as you know, since the deputies work for the county, and who do they know? You know what I mean? They don't know which one of these people, who's citizens and who's not.
I mean, they're
but
kind of acting like Seth specifically. Is the way this is phrased, that they were flipping him off.
Yes, to him specifically. Romy T, are you talking about the guy that was talking, or the cop that was
See,
ugly?
I didn't know any of this.
I don't know. We'll have to go back and find that. I mean, several people are confirming that happened, that they watched it.
NorCal SoGal said the popo walking across the street felt provoked. Probably one of CP's buddies.
Wow.
And NorCal is also lovely as well. She's sweet as pie.
Oh, okay. There you go.
From Sumner County?
Were they sheriff's office, Sumner County, or Gallatin Police, or what were they?
Well, okay. Oh yeah, we missed this.
I cannot believe that.
Well, I mean,
wow.
So he says to Seth, I was right there. The policeman said, "Go talk to the man upstairs," or something like that. Well, Seth calls them all the time, and they won't return his phone calls.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not quite that easy, right?
What?
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I think I'd almost call the news media on that one.
Yeah, somebody tell Lady Freedom to send that to the news. That's crazy.
I have him interview Seth over that.
Yeah, I mean, how can people be so unsympathetic or empathetic to not feel, 2 years later,
and to be in law enforcement, they, you know what I mean? 2 years later,
and you're surprised the dad's unhappy that nothing's happening on this case at all,
right?
With all the evidence we know they have.
That's remarkable.
Oh,
I
good.
Had no
good.
idea.
She said Betty is going to take care of it, and I reported it. Good.
I cannot believe you.
Really gross.
That would have been something to tell me at dinner. Roll me too. I'm just saying.
All right, Betty. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is very disappointing. That's just ignore it.
Did it happen today or the other day?
I don't know.
I think it happened
yesterday.
Today.
Was the interview?
Well, I don't know. Seth was calling out to them, and that's how they replied.
Oh, so that happened yesterday because that's when they interviewed, right?
Was that when it was? I thought they said it was today. No, they're all saying today.
Okay. Well, there was also the Gallatin newspaper there today doing an interview, right?
But I thought 4 was out yesterday. Or was it 5? I believe you all. You all.
We just missed it somehow.
Oh, yeah, because Lady Freedom was here today. She wasn't here. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Oh, so Real Me Too saying it happened right after we left.
Oh.
Everything happens after we leave.
We leave and it just all falls apart.
It was while Betty was trying to get interviewed for the news. You all just missed it. It's what happened.
Yeah, we'd gone to lunch or whatever. Wow. Okay. Well, we should probably.
Yeah, I'm tired, y'all. I'm getting
exhausted.
Sleepy. I'm kind of like.
Thanks for filling us in on that, but I want to go see what that was.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
But thank you so much for hanging with us. Appreciate everybody coming out today and this week, being here with us tonight. The contributions in the chat are always amazing. You guys know this case backward and forward, and so we appreciate all the interaction and all the support you guys give us. So we will. I don't know when we'll be back, but.
Well, you were talking about tomorrow. I was like, "Come on, give me a break here."
Tomorrow,
we'll get back to our Friday recap soon, but I'm sure we want to talk about the Guthrie case again. We probably want to hit the highlights on that again.
We might. There's been a lot going on with that.
And don't forget to go watch Josh tonight if you want some Guthrie case.
Yeah.
He'll catch up on the latest.
Right. Because there was some stuff today. I think I know what he's going to talk about.
And all those of you that are leaving the Hendersonville area, headed back to other places, please be careful and have a safe trip.
Yes. And thank you to our moderators. Thank you to our chat. And thank you to our subscribers. And thank you to our members. And thank you to everybody who sent us a super chat tonight and memberships and gifts. We appreciate you all. Sorry, you can tell I'm getting sleepy. I'm starting to glaze over. So you all have a wonderful night and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine on.